Mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Yo, how do we doing? Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Yes, and Debbie Noble has joined us.
I can hear it through there. Okay. Cool.
Been gone for some time from my home. They like me here, but
Yeah.
I
Cool.
don't
I still need to cut the 30-second spot for you, but I'll do that once I have now that we have everything set up. I've just been,
my truck and heading back south of I-10. 'Cause I'm the only Cajun inside. Despite all these people I'm here, with all these new cultures and big city stars, I'm the only Cajun for miles. Ain't got no Mardi Gras parades. I miss crawfish season once more. They can't say my name, now ain't that a shame? Because I ain't spelling Boudreaux no more. 'Cause I'm the only Cajun inside. Despite all these people on here, with all these new cultures and big city stars, I'm the only Cajun for miles. Cause I'm the only Cajun inside. Despite all these people up here, with all these new cultures and big city stars, I'm the only Cajun for miles. They ain't got no Mardi Gras parades. Miss crawfish season once more. They can't say my name, ain't that a shame? Because I ain't spelling Boudreaux no more. 'Cause I'm the only Cajun inside. Despite all these people up here, with all these new cultures and big city stars, I'm the only Cajun for miles. Texas. I'm here to Louisiana.
Down to about 1 minute. Right at about 1 minute.
You got to let the good times roll. They say they bon ton roulette. Here I come, Yvette. I'm on my way to Lafayette.
You have a 30-year warranty on it or a 30-year depreciation, so your cost is completely out of whack.
This is Island Moon Live on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. Corpus Christi, you have joined us. This is Island Moon Live. We are down at the waterline, right here below docks. And just a quick heads up, if you hear any kind of noise going on in the background, that is the noise of cleanliness. They are doing their annual updating. They're refinishing the parking lot and cleaning the kitchen and getting everything ready for spring break and all the madness that comes with that. So if you hear anything in the background, that's just everybody here at Docks concerned about everybody's health and safety, as they always are. It's a great thing. We have an awesome show. Tons of people here. We got Dill Rankin, Jay Gardner, Debbie Noble. We've got Gabi Hillpold, Tyler Thorson, and my name is Jacob Oggs. What a fun Thursday. Weather's doing great. Gabi, we haven't had you on the radio in a while. You been doing well?
Hi, yes, I've been doing well.
Not since the cats.
Yeah?
Yes, the cat house is empty, no more cats.
67 was the final count, wasn't it?
Yes, something like
They all
that.
they all went to live on the farm.
Yes, actually, Animal Rescue and the city have done a good job on that. I
Yeah.
can tell you that was really a good job on everyone's part.
Okay.
Get
Yeah,
hooked
try to
up.
see if the you might have to eat that mic. There we go.
Can everybody hear?
Better?
All right.
So
There
we
you
so
go.
we haven't
We're
seen you in a
rocking.
while. Have you been traveling? Where you been going?
I've been traveling a lot. I've been to Europe a lot. Got a lot of feedback from Europe on the political situation.
Yeah, I
I
bet
bet, I
you
bet you did.
Hey, I can tell you, the Danes are so mad.
did. Really?
I
They
have
don't want to give up
cousins-
Greenland?
I have cousins and
Oh,
I
yeah.
have
Yeah, yeah.
relatives everywhere. And, and rightfully so, in certain ways, they were funny because they gave me all the stats. They have 56,000 people in Greenland, right? The Danes pay about 800 million a year for those people, and they get everything. And then they are the ones that have basically supported the U.S. the most anywhere. And I didn't know that, but in Afghanistan, there were more Danes on percentage dying
Really?
than Americans.
Oh my gosh.
So they are like,
No wonder
we are
they're
the
mad.
most loyal people there are,
Yeah.
And I was laughing. I was like, hey, I'm Austrian. I'm neutral.
Right. Oh, we haven't seen too many Canadians making their way down this year with the Winter
Yeah.
Texan crowd
Yeah.
either. I think
So-
they're kind of mad at us.
Yeah, so but on the other hand, Europe loves the United States, so it's always a very interesting dynamic. They love it and they hate it when they do stuff like that. So
Right. Well,
Yeah,
So it's no trouble traveling over there with all the political stuff going on.
no, there's absolutely no trouble. I traveled Germany, which is safe, Austria, which is super safe anyway. Northern Italy.
Do you have an Austrian
France.
passport too, or an
Yes.
American?
No, I
Okay.
have both.
You have
so
both, yeah.
yes.
That would help
And
you too.
Yeah, but it's not that immigration in Europe is very, very easy, even for Americans. So in terms of going through immigration, is a no-brainer. I think it's
Well, the
it's
EU
fun-
makes it easy to travel between all of
Yes,
them, right?
exactly. And the reality is, when I'm over there, they ask me, "Aren't you afraid of the border? You live in South Texas, aren't you guys getting killed?" And I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
"No, I live
that's
in
not really a
Corpus.
thing.
It's beautiful."
Yeah.
And
We don't
then-
let them come over the bridge.
Yes, exactly. And then when I go, for instance, now when I want to travel again, they were like, "Oh my God, Europe got attacked because Turkey was, got some missiles."
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, that's how far away as Canada is from us." So
Right.
It's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
a question of perspective, you
Yeah.
know.
Right, and it's all relative, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's very safe and it's very beautiful, like the United States. You know,
Were you
it's-
back in time for Barefoot Mardi Gras?
I was.
Ooh,
yes.
excellent. What'd you think this year? What'd you think?
It was very colorful, and what I saw, I always loved the dynamics. I love just seeing the people, not
Oh,
just on
yeah.
the beach, but also in the restaurants, being dressed up, having
Yeah.
fun.
Wearing
their-
wearing their
It's-
beads everywhere.
Yes, yes.
We ran a
that's-
picture on the front page of the Island Moon, and it looked like you couldn't get very many more people on the beach.
Yes.
No,
On
except that
Saturday.
middle part. That middle
Yeah.
part, the seawall where they didn't allow cars, we could fit more people in there. That part was a little emptier. But other than that, yeah, it was packed.
My plan is to take some of the drone footage that I
Yeah.
shot, and I'm going to run it through an AI program.
Awesome. It tells you how
and
many people.
have it count heads and cars, and
Nice.
just get a shot. I did one continuous shot looking at a 45-degree angle from Whitecap Beach, looking at the turnaround right there,
Yeah, yeah.
just at Whitecap, down to about the entrance at Bayou Park where the parade started.
Right, right,
So
right,
just
right.
on that southern end of the parade route, and
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what kind of numbers it comes up with. I've
know.
heard anywhere between 16 and 20,000 people.
Yeah,
seems
we're
about
estimating
right.
between 15 and 20. I'm terrible at it.
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
For all the
yeah.
events I go to, I'm terrible at guessing crowds.
Yeah, I don't know if we could have had
Your-
any better conditions.
Your
though. That was
drone
the best
shots
part.
were amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you,
beautiful,
Debbie.
beautiful. I
It's
gotta
coming
put
from
them on.
Debbie, guys. I just want to let you know. This is the.
Oh, I have a huge amount of respect for drone. But you and Lori Ling and Padre El Madre, those guys. Oh, you guys have some amazing work. I can't compete
Well,
with
we
that.
did a video for, or August did a video for the Convention Visitors Bureau, and it was.
Yeah,
you
we
could
posted
really-
on the Barefoot Barbie page.
Well, it's
page too.
the idea is to get the pictures outside of the market, let
Yeah.
people see what's here. And I noticed the parking lot at the hotel was full. Now, I don't know if it's people staying at the hotel or if it was just people trying to get to the parade.
I think Windward was full too, wasn't that? It wasn't by the
Yeah.
end. By the time I left, it wasn't, but I think
Yeah.
it was earlier.
I never got that far north. I was being pulled on my board and the
Yeah,
vehicle broke
you did.
down.
You,
so I got the
I
hood
missed you.
off.
I didn't get my Dale
I got
shot
my
this
steps
year.
in on
I didn't get
Saturday.
that. No, I definitely got my steps in too, going back and forth. So I met a couple before the parade started on the beach when I was getting a breakfast taco from some locals. I met a couple who was there from, I think it was Michigan, one of the M states, but I think it was Michigan, who found out about the parade from social media. They read it somewhere. They just read about it and they're like, hey, let's go to that. And they just flew down to Corpus Christi or drove down and stayed here and went to the parade and had a blast. And I'm assuming that was a Visit Corpus Christi thing that they saw, because I don't think ours go that far. We don't pay to
Yeah.
sponsor our post.
We'll
so.
talk about that when Brooke comes in.
Yeah.
Tyler and I did not make the Barefoot Mardi Gras because we were down
Oh,
the
you were-
seashore
you were
on the
cleaning.
Billy Sandifer 31st annual Billy Sandifer Big Show cleanup. We had a great crew down there. We had a great turnout, despite Mardi Gras changing their weekend to our weekend. Cleanup's always on the third weekend, the last weekend,
last
of
Saturday in
February.
Last Saturday in
Exactly,
February,
but-
yeah.
And it's for a reason too, right, Jay? What's
Yes,
the,
because the next weekend is when Turtle Patrol starts, and they drop
Ah.
the speed limit from 25 to 15, the length of the beach. So we've got to be able to get through Big Shell. Sometimes you have to speed up, and there was a really soupy
Horrible.
area in
was a
between the
horrible
20
spot.
and 22 that you had to get on it.
We
So-
were looking, Jay and I were going like, man, this is incredible. Everybody's following behind us. We had the Gulf Coast Growth Ventures.
We had the best crew
We had
on
the
the
best
planet,
crew on the
yes.
planet. It was great. We
Nice.
had they were like foot soldiers, and only at the last part, that last part of the mile that we got there, we had
They
people were getting
started to
tired.
gas out
They
a
were
little
like,
bit,
"Oh."
yeah.
But no kidding, we had 1,100 people, and for the first time ever, a lot of them showed up late. A lot of folks
Right.
just showed up
Really?
because Jay
I
and I
wonder
are
if it was
normally the
traffic?
last ones. Yeah, they
Was
they
traffic bad?
With
well,
the-
not necessarily.
No, they just kind
They
of
just
They
showed
were,
up
they were on
late.
Corpus time?
Did they have to pay? They had to pay the fee to get into
no,
the
they
park?
didn't. No,
No,
Oh,
they
they
just
opened
free,
the
waited
gates.
it's
through,
free to
yeah.
get
Okay.
in. You just
Okay.
got waved through. But
No, it was incredible.
America's
We
here.
had 1,100 people that came out there, and we cleaned 30 miles of beach. And
Right.
awesome.
Jay and I had never had that much trash in his truck.
My truck was completely full past the top.
Yeah.
I couldn't
That's
see through the
crazy.
rear view.
That sounds like my truck
she
right
was
now.
squatting. Yeah.
Well, it was. Then we started emptying out the stuff at the dumpsters, and then we found out there was, oh, look, part of Jay's bed is not there.
Yeah.
They're throwing away
Beach-
parts of your truck.
Beach trucks. No, put that
Yeah,
back.
put that
Yeah.
back. That's supposed
Yeah,
to stay.
exactly.
But no, we had an incredible
diligent.
turnout, and we were just
Yeah.
so pleased with that.
The Friends of Padre was very surprised that so many people showed up. Of course, Wiener Schnitzel showed up and donated all
food.
theirs.
Yeah, the chili cheese dogs.
We love-
The Dane
we love
family
free
from
snacks.
Domino's
Domino's.
showed up.
Nice.
So yeah.
The Friends of Padre won an award in the Barefoot Mardi Gras parade. They decorate a golf cart with stuff you find on the beach. They glue and
That's a
make
good
it to make
idea.
designs out of it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's really interesting.
Right.
They won one of the golf cart awards. Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't make it to the end of the Mardi Gras.
And you've
parade,
got
so.
the CCA award tonight.
Yeah,
banquet
that's
tonight.
We have
Nice.
the
Banquet is
CCA.
tonight?
It's the 47th or 48th annual
Yeah.
banquet this
I
evening
just wrote
down
that
at the
down.
Hilliard Center.
Yeah.
We busy
starts
day.
at 5:30. You can buy tables till about 1 and individual tickets to about 2, but there's only a few left. We're basically sold out again, and that's a great event. Every dollar that we raise tonight stays in Texas, and it goes to the Habitat Today, Fish for Tomorrow committee that I chair actually for CCA Texas, and it stays in Texas, and it goes into oyster restoration, marsh restoration, and artificial reefing near shore. So
Awesome.
it's for a good cause.
So
It's
one
the
of the
48th, by the way.
Okay.
48,
It's
48
48,
years.
yeah.
And Jacob and I do the program.
Yeah.
and I couldn't
Yeah, we work
remember
on the
which one it
cover,
is.
yeah.
It'll be delivered
I don't
hopefully
know.
around 3 or 4
It's got
this
numbers on
afternoon,
it. It's
so,
all
yeah.
complex. They try and stay away from
Vino
that stuff.
math.
We'll find out.
So-
Jay hands me last minute. Hopefully I'm going to be the MC, but Jay will give me the stuff, and it looks like an audio kidnap letter. It's redacted in Jay's handwriting, but I know how Jay speaks on and our biologist of the year, and like literally he's writing it like a
Right,
is.
and then hand it. Yeah,
and you have
exactly.
to speak slowly as he's writing it.
So I mean,
we
I won't-
honor-
I don't spill the beans early because I don't know.
Right. So we honor our Texas Parks and Wildlife partners with the Game Warden of the Year award and Biologist of the Year award, and it's an eternal plaque that they get their names on and they get to display in their office for a year until they have to give it up for the next one. So yeah, no, it's a
Well,
good deal.
We've had a lot of attention this week. Speaking of restoration projects, where we're sitting right here, the barges
Oh, yeah.
across the way by the JFK. They're. I keep telling people, but they keep asking. They're doing Turn
Yeah.
Island.
Right,
Say it again.
exactly. Just like we did Triangle Tree Island down there. If you go 6 miles south of the causeway, you'll see an island on the right-hand side that's been ringed by rocks, and that's for protected bird nesting because all of our islands, our nesting islands, are melting. Zigzag Island is
Yeah.
is a good one that we're looking at here. It's got a bunch of cuts through it, and once it cuts through, it just
Then
melts like sugar.
Yeah, it
so.
erodes more. Hey, America Segura from Visit Corpus Christi just walked in. She's over here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
There's a
That's
lot for us to
America.
get
Hi.
to on this show. We're a couple minutes away from our first break, but did want to get the last of the Barefoot Mardi Gras info in and say a big thank you to all the sponsors and everybody that were a part of that. Dan
White Cup
Harrington
Living, yeah.
did, and the crew did so much work.
Yeah, they
getting
really
that
did.
stuff done. And
Somebody on the beach asked me afterwards, like, after all these years, that thing really just runs itself, doesn't it? And I was like,
No,
yeah,
Bob would say
getting
no.
no,
I ended
not
up
on
with a-
any level.
I ended up with a backpack full of moon pies that I never got to throw. I was going to throw them at the judges' table, and I never got
And
to.
how old were they?
I'm not sure. Those things, you put those in the atomic bomb
Yeah,
shelter.
those things
Yeah.
have a shelf life
Yeah.
of 20 years, like
Yeah.
a Twinkie, but yeah.
Yeah,
But I thought the extension of the route south down to Bob Hall was a good addition because it was packed
Yeah.
all
yeah,
the way
it was,
down.
absolutely.
And,
I bet if you put more beach, there'd be more
be more
people
people.
that showed
Probably
up.
would.
So yeah.
and I think each year, as word gets out, like you were saying, as word gets out outside of the city, and people see it, and it's going to keep it'll keep growing. I thought the idea this year they added the band after the parade.
Yep.
Crowd
And
stuck
people
around.
were dancing. People were dancing.
So it was a
And,
good.
you know, we had on Island Moon Live, we had issues keeping steady power, but Michael Hall, nice guy, let us use his Starlink unit, so we had
I heard that. That's
internet
great.
when the generator wasn't chugging. Then
Yeah.
we ended up getting the power straight, and all that was good. And you can go on YouTube and just go to Island Moon Live and actually kind of sit there and see the entire process of everything. And I think we're going to use that as a resource next year to make sure that people have kind of access to understanding where the traffic is, where
That's true.
how to get in
and
and
what
out
kind of
and
floats are
everything.
there?
And-
What kind of things they can
Exactly.
do? What to
yeah.
expect?
And that works with the drone. So
Well, I think what we'll probably do is put a little more preparation work into the video side of things.
and
next
we will
year.
have a lot more, a
Kinda
lot
did
of
that at the last minute.
a lot of
Having
that and
it
more
pl-
coming
plug
back
into
to
your
you.
truck generator.
Coming back to you right after this quick commercial break.
No. We love Brooke. We love Brooke. We love Brooke.
Everything's fine. We love Brooke.
Well, she came and did her
She did.
spring break thing at ISAC this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good. To warn everybody not to try to drive around.
Well, one of the things, and I wanted to talk about, Landman came down here scouting locations. They're
Tyler
talking about
Sheridan.
shooting down
Yeah,
here
that's
in the next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Film and Music has been doing quite a bit of
That video you
projects.
guys made is amazing. I saw it the other day at the awards, at the advertising awards, and I had forgotten all about it until I saw that again. You
Yeah.
need to make that visible to everybody. Everybody would love to
Yeah,
see
we
that.
definitely need to share that out with the community. So
Yes,
we have a
yes.
new Film and Music Commissioner. You know that.
hang on.
Drew
Yeah,
Myers.
yeah. All right, we're back.
There we go.
And now for real, we'll have that.
And we are back. Welcome back to Island Moon Live. It's another gorgeous Island Moon Thursday. We are out here live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. Dale Rankin, we've got America from Visit Corpus Christi, Debbie Noble, Gabi Hillpold, Tyler Thorson, and my name is Jacob Oggs. We are glad you are joining us. There's a lot to get to, and I think everybody's taking a good kind of pat on the back and a success lap for Barefoot Mardi Gras and the gorgeous weather we had. And
Yeah. Thank you for that weather, by the way. We appreciate that.
Visit Corpus Christi had a lot to do with the kind of spreading the news about Barefoot. Is that right?
Yes, we did. We love Barefoot Mardi Gras, and this year it was just spectacular to see all of that come to fruition so beautifully. I've heard from several people that the hotels down here were quite packed. We
Good.
still don't have the full report on that, so for accuracy purposes, it'll be a while until we can share that information. But from an event standpoint, I think it's definitely grown over the last couple of years. And I know I am actually on the PIBA board on behalf of Visit Corpus Christi, and so I know that a lot of planning went into it. I know there was such a huge emphasis on just growing the parade, and that route switch up I think was a game changer. I think the new development out with the sandbox was also played a really pivotal role in that.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was
you
fun.
also have the really great opportunity for the entire business community of Padre Island to be
Yes.
able to make events around Mardi Gras. So I think that
yeah.
really kicked it up. And I know we had a savings pass that we worked on with the island, so that was neat to see just elevate all the festivities throughout the month, right? So
Yeah, it was a whole season. It wasn't just a parade. It was a season.
yeah.
Is there any way to tabulate the economic impact Barefoot Mardi Gras has? Do you see a increase in hotel occupancy or anything like that?
Yeah, there will be, and that'll take a little bit of time to calculate, like I said, for accuracy purposes, but we're looking forward. It's usually about a month and a half after
Yeah.
the fact of the event,
Because
so
a
that
lot
we can just get
because
it
a lot of
right.
a lot of those numbers come from hot tax, right? Which is filed at the end of every month, generally
Yeah.
between a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Can you
So-
can you do the whole cell phone thing and figure out what your estimate is of how many people were there too?
Yeah, we have a partnership with some data companies that are able to track, how much traffic was down there based on cell phone pings and things like that.
Love that.
So we'll definitely have some data. I know we had several guests that were in the area. I know just from going out to the beach a couple of days before, there were already people from out of town that were arriving. I was out at the Wyndham property probably 2 days after Barefoot Mardi Gras, and it seemed to be jam-packed. There was still people out on like that patio listening to live music. So the vibes were high for sure.
Yeah.
Can you
I wanted to
differentiate-
say, I wanted to say I met a couple on the beach from Michigan who said that they came simply because they saw here the husband just saw it on Facebook somewhere or saw it on the internet, and I assume it was yours because we don't sponsor
Yeah.
posts, so I assume it was your video that went all over the place.
Yeah, well, our marketing team always does the ads, so they will drive visitation to the landing page, right, that
Right.
the Padre Island Business Association puts together. And then we
Yeah.
have a guide, we have social media, we have different ways, we have articles that go out, in the different regional markets. So always a very big effort, and that effort probably starts anywhere from 3 to 6 months before the event. And so I know a lot of our locals might not see our advertisements, but that's
Right.
because we're targeting people from out of
No,
town.
see, that is a really good point. I hear that from people out here all the time. That Visit CC doesn't do anything for us. They never help us. They don't don't show off our area. And I know that you guys do.
What's
and I know
Visit
that you
CC,
guys
not live in CC.
I know, right? And I know that you're not allowed to spend hot tax advertising to us. So if we're seeing it, like you're targeting the wrong people. So can you explain to us a little bit about what you do to promote the island all over the place, so that people will maybe listen and stop complaining?
Yeah, well, the island does have probably our biggest assets and the biggest reason why people come here. It's going to be our beaches, right? So Padre Island National Seashore, Mustang Island State Park, Big Shell Beach, Little Shell Beach. So we're always promoting that. And then a really unique factor of our beaches, which not a lot of people talk about, because I think we take for granted here is that our beaches are drivable. You can
Right.
drive right on the beach. That is
Right.
not very common. Anywhere that I
No,
go.
never where I've lived.
Yeah.
Never
For
been able to do that.
$12 right now too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
December
I throw that
21st.
in there.
December 31st. $12 only.
America, do you have any way to tell on the metrics? Because we have a lot of people that come for the big show cleanup at the same time. So if they're like coming from San Antonio, Austin, which we get a lot of people from San Antonio and Austin and the Houston area, can you tell us like, well, we are here for both, or we're here for that only, or how do you
Well, we'll
Catch
see an
that up.
uptick based on short-term rental data and also hotel occupancy tax data. We'll see what weekends, right, were elevated, and sometimes we can attribute that to events. So, for example, with Barefoot Mardi Gras, we're like, okay, everything was kind of steady, and then there was an uptick this weekend. We can kind of point that, like, context
Yeah.
clues, right? It was because of Barefoot Mardi Gras.
Or
As
if-
far
or
as
your cleanup too.
Sure.
yeah,
Because that's a big thing too.
Yeah, so we definitely have to get very granular with certain things, but there is a way that you can tell.
We have a lot of Winter Texans that participate in that cleanup all the time, and we've
love
been
that.
down there. One time, these guys are going, "Oh, come on! In Wisconsin, it's 55 is a high in in July, and they're out here in shorts, and we're
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
37 degrees and raining. Like, oh,
Yeah.
we're just getting warm now.
Yeah.
So
I
they
can relate
enjoyed
to
it.
that.
It was really warm out there, and it was a really great day. So it was. I was just so pleased that. That both of those events turned out as well as they did, so we're happy.
yeah.
Bob Hall Pier, except for the hole drilled.
Yeah, I know.
That's
That guy got
lots
hauled
of good
away, though.
stuff. Lots of good things have been
So
happening.
tell
on the
us
island.
what things you do to promote the island. Tell us so that.
Yeah, well, definitely one of the most prominent things that we do is marketing. So advertisements for all of the events going on throughout the island. And then you also have the component of social media. So we have a team that is out here getting content, any new developments, whether it's a new coffee shop like Kaladi's Coffee or new Bob Hall Pier. So as a matter of fact, I have a fun story about Bob Hall Pier. So our content team was out there last week during the ribbon cutting.
Yep.
And My San Antonio had just put out a about the fire that had happened out here.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
I was so devastated that it looked like it was so big, and I was like, I don't want this to deter visitation
Right.
from
Right.
our San Antonio market, because we know they're coming in
Right.
most likely for spring break. So I said, you know what, Bob Hall Pier is coming up. Let's go ahead and get some footage. Let's send it out to My San Antonio. Let's just see if they run it. Let's pitch it. And lo and behold, they did. And so
Oh, nice.
you'll see on the My San Antonio, they talked about Bob Hall Pier just a couple of days before the fire. And so that kind of just gave a fresh perspective that the island was open and ready for business
Nice.
ahead of Barefoot Mardi Gras and spring break.
Nice.
There was
I like that.
The rumor got out last week that Donald Trump was coming
I
to
know.
Bob Hall Pier.
I know.
I don't know if there was a crowd waiting on him, but
No,
if they were, they're still
somebody
out there.
posted that on Facebook, and it got a zillion shares in a time of engagement. And I was like, for the love
And
of
it's
God,
made
that man
up
is
out
not
of whole
coming.
cloth.
Yeah.
It never
Yeah.
happened.
No,
the,
no, no.
the amount of AI photos. I think he was
Oh my
playing
God.
pool
Yeah.
over in the bluff. You know,
Yeah.
he
Yeah, he was everywhere.
he
According
had all
to
kinds
AI.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you had Dodson out there. That was
that was
nice to
cool.
see
Did.
Dodson.
Yeah.
I didn't get the call, but I couldn't get out
I
on
went
time
with
anyway.
him. We went to. He got to meet the governor and the lieutenant governor. They ran us out of the back before the president showed up.
Well,
didn't
they
trust
ran us out over off of Old Brownsville Road. He showed up at the Whataburger over
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And so we
That's
were
right.
like, I said, what's going on here? And I said, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So they
He
closed
said
that
about
off.
30 cars pulled up, and he got out and went in.
Yep.
And they had
Yeah.
his order ready, and he got
And
back.
he paid for the whole restaurant and gave everybody hamburgers.
And if you when it what came out a couple of days ago, he made the decision to bomb Iran while he was in flight to here. So when he came here and did his speech,
He knew, right?
He already knew what was coming.
I mean, whatever your political persuasion is, he can juggle a lot of things at
Yeah.
once. So
including Whataburger, as it
right,
turned
yeah,
out.
exactly. It was like nothing. It was like nothing was wrong.
And so
different.
now we slip right from.
Hey, can I just make one comment about
Yes.
the hot tax? And this is a policy issue,
Please
maybe
do.
for
Yeah.
Isaac. I agree a little bit with the people that have an issue that we cannot spend the money in-house. Mostly because there's a lot of people that come to Corpus, and I fly in and out all the time, and I sit next to them, and they think the beach for Corpus is North Beach. They come here for 2 days, they work somewhere, they don't even know that there is a real,
Yeah.
touristy
A
beach
real
out
beach,
there.
yeah.
And in-house money, if you are not proud yourself, if the Corpus Christians do not recognize what the beach is giving us, we cannot sell it, right?
Right.
So I would very much encourage Isaac to go on that hot tax and work with you guys. And you're doing a great job. You have all the marketing data.
Well, you're on the board, aren't you?
No, not anymore.
Or not anymore? I thought you were.
I did like 8 years.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, I
if
felt
anybody, if
Convention
anybody
Visitors
follows,
Bureau.
if you follow it, visit Corpus Christi on any of the social media, you see all the
But
stuff.
the problem is it's insiders. Who follows visit anything
I
in
do.
terms of if you are not.
If I
no,
visit
I don't
somewhere-
Yeah,
mean
but
that
you're
in
the
a-
downtown of the year.
I don't mean it in a demeaning way. I mean,
No.
if you
Yeah.
have a billboard, if you have, or whether it's your radio show, whether it's TV,
Yeah.
it's a different story. You know, if
Exactly.
you see it, you know.
Yes. Well, and Gabi, we're going to get to some property tax stuff in a
Yeah.
little bit. We're going to take a quick break. Everybody hold fast. We'll return shortly. Welcome back to Island Moon Live. My name is Jacob Boggs. We are live here at the Waterline, just below Doc's Seafood and Steaks, right at the base of the beautiful JFK Causeway. We've got a table full of people: Tyler Thorson, Gabi Hillpole, Debbie Noble, America with Convention and Visitors Bureau, or AKA Visit Corpus Christi, and Dale Rankin, editor-publisher of the Island Moon. Ladies, we were kind of talking during the break about
hot tax.
about hot tax money, where it goes to,
Hotel occupancy tax.
yes, where it's all collected from, and just give everybody kind of the 30,000 foot view on the plan with that within the city.
Yeah, well, kind of following up on the question that you had about, where the funds go, our funds go to try to bring in visitation. And you were mentioning how locals also need to know about the plenty of things that are going on, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's events or the new businesses. And so on our social media, that's organic. We encourage all residents to follow us because we want to provide a quality of life kind of model for residents, right? But more recently, we had seen that. Residents might not necessarily be educated on the assets that our community has. So whether that's the beach, I can tell you, I've been here for almost 10 years. I did not know that we had a national seashore until probably 3 years living into this. And I was
Yeah.
a college student
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah.
I just knew JP Luby, but I didn't know about pins. And so we saw that the last couple of years. The data showed us, we do a community survey for our residents, and we said, let's address it. So one of the ways that we're kind of combating that, and like I said, it's a small fraction of money that we are able to allocate towards educating residents and community pride and things like that. We decided on a partnership with 3 News, and so we are partnering with them on something called the Weekend Guide. And so that Weekend Guide is sponsored by Visit Corpus Christi, and then we're also just educating and providing an opportunity for locals to know about what's coming down, right, in the weekend. So I know Barefoot Mardi Gras was the feature last month. So once a month.
We appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah, and once a month, a representative from Visit Corpus Christi will go in and we'll talk about and we'll weave in messaging that makes sure that our residents know about what's going on, new businesses and new things like that. I know one of our team members is working on the March one tomorrow, and so they'll be mentioning
Art
a
walk,
couple
I
of.
hope,
So they do it
Art
once a
walk.
month?
Always
Art Walk is
Walk.
Friday. Yeah, we love Art Walk downtown.
They do it once
Yeah.
a month?
Yeah,
They'll do it?
They do it every week, and then a representative on behalf of Visit Corpus Christi will go in and
I
do a
see.
little bit more of that messaging that is encouraging residents to love where they live, to go out and explore.
Will that
and
air
do-
outside of the market? Will that air in San Antonio and Austin?
It airs here in Corpus
Here in
Christi, the
Corpus?
3 News.
Well, we're easing right on into the out of the Barefoot Mardi Gras season into right this weekend, tomorrow, spring break.
Yep.
Spring break.
And I've already noticed you see a little bit of pickup in traffic. I drove to Kingsville and back today. You're already seeing some people coming in. Port Aransas, everything's opening this weekend.
It
Yeah.
sounds weird, but it's actually kind of true. I know the metric where it's almost spring break or spring break's on the way when I see more white legs than normal.
Yeah.
Us
And then by the
locals are
end, it's lobster tan.
Exactly.
But Brooke Kaufman, the head of CVB, did a presentation at ISAC this week. She said that one of the things that they're expecting now with spring break is a lot of the rentals are moving to short-term rentals.
Yeah.
The hotel rates are holding pretty steady, but the short-term rentals is where the growth is. And you probably see that in your property.
Yeah,
don't you, Gabby?
we see it, and the island is split, as you know, in terms of what's permitted, what's done.
Right.
The condos, townhouses, they usually have the options, and they can do it in-house with the HOAs.
Right.
The private houses, most of them are still single residential family with a limit on 30 days.
Right.
So you can do a 30 days, especially if it's for spring break or some of that, and go on short term, but then you have to furnish your house. So it's a really hard deal. Some of the out-of-town owners, they can legally take advantage of it, and honestly, the ones that don't do it right, you cannot catch them.
Yeah. I know.
So
hard to
it's
police.
really a discussion that's very mute in terms of it's an academic discussion that we have over and over again, and people get very heated. And I think it's stupid because if we made it legal and in the right way, with parking restriction, with making sure that the neighborhoods do not get all the dirt and the
Wild
noise
parties,
and all
yeah.
that stuff, there is an option there
Yeah.
that has never been discussed because the emotions go so high on both sides.
There, you do see
And-
people doing it, and you can
yeah.
tell which houses are
Yeah,
doing it in
absolutely.
residential because there's
Absolutely.
too many cars out front.
And that's exactly one of the
Yeah.
pet peeves I had was instead of discussing can we do it, can we not do it, make sure that if you do it right so that the neighbors have a good living quality when you're there full term. And I live here full term, right? So
Yeah.
I have had this discussion a few times, but the emotions are very high. And I think we need to take them out, look at the numbers, look what's really happening
Yeah.
on the ground, and then try to come up with a practical, real solution for all of it.
What's the long-term rental market like now? On
It's
the island?
slow. I mean, it's full in terms of we are always 80 to 90% occupied, but it's on a money level. It doesn't. None of the returns, not even the short term, really gives you the rate of return that you need with the taxes and insurance so high. And we have discussed this over years and years,
Right.
and the legislation is working on that. That's part of where we're still involved. It's the rental market. Even if you have paid off houses, you're basically looking at if you have a great year, you're looking at a 2 to 5% return.
I didn't realize the margin was that slim. on
It's
that.
completely slim
Wow.
because you have a huge amount of property tax and a huge amount of insurance. And then your holding costs have expanded. And the one that's hurting us the most, and I can assume the little owners, as well, is the ACs have skyrocketed. I mean, a few years back it was $4,000 or $5,000 max.
Yeah.
Now we are looking at ACs between $8,000 and $15,000. It's more than a
And
roof.
you have
Yeah.
to have that. Too.
Yes,
you can't.
you
not
have to
AC
have
down
it. You
there.
have to have it certified. So you're looking at more than a roof, but the lifeline is more like 7 to 10 years out here. The roof you have for 30 years.
Right.
So
Air
your
conditioners in this
investments-
climate don't
it's
mix
horrible.
very well.
Yes, it is.
They
horrible.
start making that funny noise, and then they start to, and then you're thinking, well, I guess we won't be taking a vacation this
Yes.
year. We'll be getting
Yes.
a new air conditioner.
But that's why the desperation is in the numbers and turning to short term. As long as we cannot get legislation to really look at property tax reform in a bigger way,
Yeah.
you're looking at and renters are priced out of it everywhere in
Yeah.
the state. That's
Well, you're
why
seeing
it's
that
not taking care of the renters
You're
at
seeing
all.
that in Port Aransas,
Yeah.
where the number of
Yeah.
full-time residents is actually
Yeah.
starting to drop a little
Yeah.
bit because no one can afford to live there full-time.
And it goes straight into what we asking for is like the tax exemption that was passed, right?
Yeah.
It's for the homeowners and for the ones that are 65 and over. It's really good. We have 140,000 exemption now. Went from 100,000 to 140.
Right.
We have the state working on stuff that's good. They want to work on a cap from 3.5 to 2.5 on the tax rate for the cities and the
Right.
districts. That's a good thing.
The cities have found a way around that.
Yes, and that's the
They've
part.
the cities got to 6.
Yes.
It took them one fiscal year at 3.5, and then they found a way to get back to 6.
And it's a problem because it never really gives you a break,
Yeah.
on your absolute number that you have to pay. In a perfect world, your value should be high and your rate should be low.
Well,
we are in the opposite. So.
We had from 1981 until just 2 or 3 years ago, cities and counties and school districts could take 8% a year, and they all did. They would all come. The game was the appraisals would come in right at 7.9, and then they would keep the same tax rate and claim that they either cut taxes or didn't increase taxes. But at 8%, your tax levy doubles every 10
Yes.
years. And it got high, and even when you start cutting the appraisal numbers, like the legislature's been doing,
Yeah.
you're already started from an elevated number.
And that's exactly right. So I think that the state is aware of the problem. I looked at the proposed cuts, and Representative Hunter has said they're starting in April to work on even more reforms because
Yeah.
it is going to hit us extremely, in the next few
We
years.
feel it on the island.
Yes.
Do you know how much appraisals have went up on the island this year?
Well,
Have you
it's
seen
not the
number?
appraisal numbers have not really gone up, it's the rates.
Ah.
So because the values have not really, they have been pretty stagnant
Huh.
in terms of houses and lots, and some of the lots actually went down
Really?
because there is not a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
Last year was a slow traffic
It was a
year.
slow, yeah.
Yeah, the market's kind of creeping right now, and
Yes.
everybody's talking about interest rates and these
Yes.
possible drops on everything.
Yes.
And I think that's really what they're just sitting on their hands saying,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I'm ready to cash in and make the move as soon as it happens. So I think everybody's kind of hanging on with bated breath in the market for that.
That's
It's
exactly
slow. I mean,
right.
we have a realtor that writes with the Island Moon, and if you want to read that article, you can just go to islandmoon.com, where issue
Yeah.
1142 is up actively right now,
Yes,
or
it is.
find it on your newsstand when Dale drops a bunch of them later.
Yeah.
But we only had about 4 houses sold last week.
It was extremely slow, and it was very stagnant, and it's almost like everyone is in fear of moving, as you said, and it has nothing to do with the numbers.
Wait,
Our prices are great, in comparison to other coastal areas.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
it's
one of
still
the
gro-
things that I hear from people that have just 1 or 2 short-term rental houses is that you've had so many new multifamily. You've had over on Leeward, and you had another one on Lake Padre. There's a lot of inventory out there in the market right now, and it's made it's dropped the price, the rental price, short-term rental prices. So unless you have several units, you have a hard time making any money.
And that's why, we still stick to long-term renters. We really have very good renters, and they need. I mean, we need the long term too, because we need our teachers to be placed, we need our
Right.
wait staff to be placed. I mean, all of that stuff needs to happen, or you have no dynamic within the community. So, a real reform that tackles all of that, I think, is necessary, because that tax system is just ancient. And even
Yeah.
if we try to, as you said, even if the state tries to figure it out, then the city gets a loophole. If the city figures it out, the state gets a
Right.
loophole. They all try to get their money from the wrong sources because they are stagnant.
Well, they're talking,
that's
the state now is talking about in the next legislative session of doing away with school taxes
Mm-hmm.
altogether. They've already cut them back by knocking off appraisals.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about doing away, and that's half of the tax burden. I talked to people out here on the island.
and that would make a lot of
But
sense.
then who's going to pay for the schools?
Yeah, well, you have the
State.
system. Yes,
The
you have
state's
a
writing
different
checks.
system.
They
Yeah.
got a $30 billion surplus, and
Surplus,
they're writing
exactly.
checks. And they're talking about and it's what they did in the last session. They dropped, was it $160,000, I think it is, off of appraisal value for school taxes for over 65-year-old homeowners. And the state just wrote a check because they've got they've got a $30 billion
rainy day
surplus.
fund.
If you're old enough, remember the lottery was supposed to
Yeah.
fund the schools and all that kind
It was
of stuff?
supposed to. I was on the
Oh,
House
yeah,
floor
that's
the day
right.
that
That's
they
right.
passed that. It
I
was,
forgot about that.
It was 400. It was under Ann Richards, and they had a $4 billion. They were just coming in with the Robin Hood system, which is where all this tax stuff kind of started going off the rails, and they had a $4 billion deficit, and the lottery was going to replace 400 million of it. So it was the lottery. The misnomer was it was going to be one for one, and it wasn't. It was going to be barely a quarter of what was needed.
What's going to happen? Excuse me, as I eat the mic. We talked about CCAD and losing jobs, and
Yeah.
what if the
Yeah.
Coast Guard doesn't come in?
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with your longer term rentals because you get all those pilots in there.
Well,
for
and
whatever.
all
yeah.
of this has to do with it's all connected. It's the
Right.
overall growth of the area is connected to people. First, the people that live here have to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Then you can actually make everyone else happy. Because if there's no good restaurant left, if there's no one here that wants to work all the stuff, it's not going to make a difference,
Right.
for the tourists.
Yeah.
It has to be organic, it has to be the whole deal. And I think in the past, the numbers have just gone out of whack with us selling stuff, and everyone always says, oh, yeah, it will explode, and
Yeah.
you can afford it.
But it never does.
And you can't afford it if you basically...
Jacob's trying to break in here.
Just
Speaking
pay
of,
the
yes,
tax,
well,
so-
we're going to get to a bunch of those numbers, and I wish we had Greg Smith with us, but we'll get him on soon enough.
Yeah.
More numbers coming at you, and trust me, some of them will be astounding. We're going to a break. Hold fast.
And that was the one done by the hotel.
And that's
operator.
something we've been
They
trying to work on,
self-tax,
but it hasn't
and they have a
been easy
separate
too.
board
They
beside
do.
from the
Yes,
CBB.
yeah.
What do they spend that money on? I've never
So
heard
that
of
needs to be
Fundraiser for the
specifically
ballet.
spent
I
on
love
initiatives
ballet,
that we did
right?
not
And
have
so I always
before.
try
So
to
that's
help
actually
everyone
what
in
funds
the
the
arts
Film
in
and Music
town
Commission.
comes.
That's what funds the
yeah.
Sports
I was
Commission.
thinking of taking
That's also what's
out of the 8 people,
that's also
6
what
have never been
PR
out
is
to the
funded
beach.
by, the
They've been
TPIP.
here
So
Okay.
it's not a
Oh my
tax,
God.
it is an assessment fee
That's-
And they said
that
we went to the
hoteliers
beach.
much here because there's more places spread out.
All right, we are back. Welcome back to Island Moon Live. We are down here at the Waterline out of Doc's Seafood and Steaks, just over the beautiful JFK Causeway. And, we're talking about property taxes, hot tax, and everything that kind of where the money goes. And if you want to save money and get rid of that old car truck, I recommend you go to Discount Motor Company right off of 6601 SPID, right between Turner's and the movie theater. Go see Frank the Bank. He wants to buy that old car truck off of you. If you need fleet vehicles, you need that new 4x4 dually to pull that toy hauler you just got, go see Frank. He wants to buy your car or truck. Or other things. He's got all kinds of crazy stuff. You can just go to discountmotorcompany.com and see the active inventory and stuff they have. Definitely go by. Don't go to one of those big box stores where it's just basically, they have to talk to their manager who talks to their manager and everything. No, just go talk to Frank. He's right there off of SPID and he wants to buy your vehicle. So, America, we were kind of talking, and Gabi and Debbie, we were talking during the break about the amount of hot tax collected via just the island versus the amount in, Corpus Christi proper, and then in Port A. And I think Greg Smith said that Port A last year was in like top 7 or top 8 statewide in hot tax collected. I mean, we're talking beat out
6
Houston.
million.
Yes.
Yeah, beat out big cities, San Antonio,
6
other big
million.
markets, right?
What were the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and
I'm
For the-
curious.
we collect about the last number. It's been a couple of years ago. The last number I saw, we were around a little under 20 million, and about 4 of that and some change comes from the island. But then you get in the summertime where some people that come to go to the beach, they don't stay out here. They stay in the,
Yeah, on the corridor
SPID corridor, and you see that number go way up in the summertime. And it would be a little bit higher than downtown in the peak months. So basically the island is about 25% typically of the hot tax that's collected. And I don't know, I haven't seen a number recently on how much of that goes into cost overruns still at what's now the Hilliard Center. That number in 2 or 3 years ago, Gabi, was about $14 million.
Yes, and
something like that.
I heard it's overrun, but I have no exact numbers on that.
It's hard to find
Yeah.
because it's in all kinds of different places,
Yeah.
and you can't get it you can't get it to bank accounts. But
You'd think with the new Hilliard sponsorship, they would be a little bit less in the hole because he's paying
You would think.
significantly
Yeah.
more than American Bank Center ever did. Like way more.
They passed the type A, the Proposition A, and that's just now starting. They're starting to do some planning with that, it looks like. But I don't think the question is, now they're saying they can use some of that money for our seawall out here on the island.
And they should. I mean, the hot tax is really for the beaches overall
Yeah.
in terms of security, safety, and the seawall is absolutely
Yeah.
a necessity for the whole island.
Well, they passed the
So-
Prop A. They rewrote it because it failed the first time, so they broadened the language so they could do some other things with it. And when they did that, the language was broad enough that we can use it for our seawall out here, which makes sense because this is a tourist destination.
Yeah.
It makes
Well,
sense
and working
to do
on our
that.
seawall makes things like the Sandbach Beach Bar possible, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Looked
the
like they were-
first construction on the seawall since how long was
83.
it? Darryl?
83.
now.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was
It's a lifetime.
outstanding. And it
It's
was
beautiful.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm,
Kunal and those guys did a great job.
I'm hoping from a kind of tourism and infrastructure a kind of combo. That's the first snowball falling down a hill.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I
You
did
know.
run into the hotel guys at the presidential rally, actually, and they're about ready to go out to bids. In fact, I think they're already out to bids. They're waiting
Okay, cool.
on the new
Yeah.
On the new one
seawall.
out here.
That's
okay.
exciting.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
The more we talk to other people in the industries, as far as like new developments and things going on the island, and then following what's going on as far as Convention Visitors Bureau, tourism, all the kind of promotions outside of Corpus, for the city. I'm seeing a lot of this. Everybody's just kind of like chomping at the bit, but nothing's really happening. And I think is it in your professional opinions, what do you think? Is it going to be the interest rate drops that send everybody running? What's going to be the final shoe to drop to really kick this off?
I personally think it's stability in the overall market. I think that the markets, it's not just
Markets
Texas,
they like
it's
to
not
know what's
just
going
the
on.
state, it's like It's overall stability. The
You
big
can't plan it.
investors,
You can't plan if you don't know if things change
Right.
constantly.
And if you don't have that security, it's hard to move. If you're a big industry.
Yeah.
And that's just important. And it doesn't matter in which direction, but it has to be stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, we
they
To
haven't-
be able to plan. And
We
count
haven't
on
seen any
things.
action over around Lake Padre. I know there's been some meetings at City Hall lately along
Yeah.
those lines, trying to see when something's going to start happening
Well,
over there.
my opinion is that we have reduced the amenities, and that was a mistake in my opinion,
Right.
because if you had a limited amount of golf, plus some pickleball, plus some swim lap pools,
Right.
other stuff, you have amenities that people can use for a day or two, and they prolong their stays.
Yeah.
And the people that are here would be members of anything.
You only
know?
sit
I
on the
mean,
beach for so long.
I mean, exactly. You have all water and sun-related sports.
Once you
right
get a
now.
lobster tan,
Yes.
it's time to go home.
Or the Neapolitan ice cream. That's sort of like the copper tone girl.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
the different shades. There's red, and there's
Yeah.
brown, and there's white.
Well, you don't sell the steak, you sell the sizzle.
you- Right.
You
and
got to
we-
build the sizzle.
And we forget that we have a lot of tourists also from Mexico. If you go to the
Yeah.
mall, we have some very affluent buyers that are come from the Mexico area. They have lots of money and they're really good tourists. And they want amenities. They are not your beach persons, right? They want the amenities. They want to see the beach. They have the view.
Yeah.
They want to be taking the picture,
They're
but
near it,
they
yeah.
want everything else in
Yeah.
addition, So.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of Mexican investors out
Yes,
here.
yes,
that
and
got
really
chunks
cool-
of land
cool
and
people.
doing
Yes.
some development over
Yes.
on Lake Padre.
Yeah.
The guy from Monterey over there, Joe Covey,
Yeah.
doing that. You see when you look at the appraisal district map, you see a lot of companies that Mexican owners.
Yeah.
It's because they
Interesting.
come up from
Yeah.
the valley.
Yeah.
Do you think the spring break is going to be affected? Because a lot of kids were going to Cozumel and places like that. Do you think they'll back up and go like, hey, let's
Oh,
go?
Maybe they'll stay here. Maybe they'll stay more local.
well-
What do you guys think at the Bureau?
Yeah, well, just to touch on what you had mentioned, so we have 10 million visitors a year, and something that I always try to tell our locals and the people that might say I don't see the uptick is that compared to other beach destinations throughout Texas, Corpus Christi is very large. We're the largest beach
We're spread
destination in
out.
Texas. We are so spread out. So you
Yeah.
have, yes, 10 million people coming in, but it is a much bigger playing field. So
Right.
that's always something that I try to keep in mind. Then you also have the factor of consumer behavior, right? So over the past maybe almost year and a half, there's a lot of instability in different things, whether that's things like the government shutdown that might deter people from spending that income. And
Grocery prices.
Yeah, our data has shown that. Our data has shown that people might be more kind of holding on to their dollars a little bit tighter. And so, in fact, we see that with our booking window. So our data has shown that people, even in our drive market, so you're talking San Antonio, Houston, Austin, are not booking their hotel rooms until maybe 3 or 4 days. I'm talking about same week.
Really?
They're not
Oh
planning
yeah,
in advance.
they're going
Yes.
last minute. All right, maybe we can go down
Yes,
this weekend.
so
Yeah.
because they already have the money, they say the money's in my account. I'm ready to go. I can get the hotel, and they might be shopping around for deals online. They might
Yep.
have seen and gotten inspired on social media.
They can see
So-
what's going on islandmoon.com.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see that. I'm such a big planner, but I think even
Yeah.
me over the last couple of years, as I've gotten to just travel for leisure, I am kind of waiting a little bit more. Like, what is my bank account going to look like, right?
Right.
We also
6 months
watch
from
the
now.
weather.
Yeah.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
going to
Yeah,
mention.
yeah, weather
And,
too.
and
Big
Brooke
factor.
mentioned at ISAC the other night that there's a little bit of rain in the forecast, at least for this coming weekend.
Please,
Yeah.
please, please, we
Could
need it.
Well,
Scare
you know,
people off a little bit, I guess.
That's something that our team had kind of picked up on over the last couple of years, and so we decided to put beach camps on our spring break landing page because we want. Sometimes you might get
Yeah.
a little bit of rain, in the downtown area, but not
But not
necessarily
out
on
here,
the
yeah.
island
Yeah.
and things
Well,
like that.
and if you're looking for that kind of customized umbrella or rain gear, or maybe you need hats or embroidery, you need to reach out to Ted at Impact Marketing. They're down off of 423 Schatzel Street downtown. Just give them a shout at 887-9300 or just go to impactmarketingcc.com. They've got everything you can imagine and more. Little tech gadgets. They've got hats, safety gear, pens, pencils, all these fun little promo things. You can get them customized. You can get a deck of cards with your brother-in-law's face on it. Probably gonna about to do that for his upcoming birthday. Don't let the secret get out though. Go see Ted at Impact Marketing right off of Schatzel Street, impactmarketingcc.com. Y'all hold fast. We will be right back shortly.
About the new Film and Music Commission.
So I did.
Hang on,
you know,
let me
okay.
bring us back real quick and make sure that we are.
They'll take over.
All right, welcome back to Island Moon Live. It is gorgeous Island Moon Thursday.
It really is.
Out here at we're at the Waterline, right below Doc's Seafood and Steaks. Got a great crew. We're jumping right back into this, and we're glad you're with us out here on KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. That is KEYS Corpus Christi.
Our second week on Keys.
Yes,
All right.
and you have found us on Island Moon Live if you're watching via YouTube. So hello, to everybody, either watching now or later. You can go back and watch any of our archived episodes
I love that part.
on YouTube,
Yeah.
just at Island
We
Moon
have
Live.
the technology.
And yes, and you
Yeah.
can see how the sausage is made. You know, you can see all these wires on the table, and you know, yeah.
There are a lot of wires, Jake.
Now, Gabi, you're on the Nueces County Appraisal District Board.
Yes.
What's going on? I haven't been keeping up with those meetings. Is there anything new going on there?
Well, implementing all the changes, and I wanted to tell you of one. So the 100,000 exemption went to 140,000 exemption, but for disabled and seniors, it went to 200,000.
Right.
And then we have another exemption that's overlooked often, but personal property exemption went from 2,500 to 125,000.
Really?
Yes.
That's a massive
And
jump.
that's a huge jump in terms of if you look at that.
What would that include? Personal
Well, that's inventory for your if you're a small business, it's mostly business related. It's your furniture or computers or a small car, company cars, stuff like that. So, and I do not know when exactly all of this will be implemented and at what time. I will need to talk to the
so
appraisal.
up to 120,000, you said?
Yeah, 125.
Wow, that's quite an increase.
And
for
then
people.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and then what the legislation is working on is, if you remember, you have homesteaded, which we covered, but then you have, for instance, you are an older couple, you have a second house, or you are a company that has like 10 houses. Up to now, you could have been upped the next year. Before last year, it was like 100%. You would have a house and it could jump up 100%. They kept it at 20.
20.
And now they are striving. The next step is the state wants to cap it at possibly 3%, so that you don't have a sticker shock.
Right.
Because
Right.
that's the other thing, and it goes back into
Again, you can't
short-term
plan.
rent.
You can't
exactly.
plan.
I have a lease contract, right, for let's say a small house for $2,000. I cover it because I think my house is worth X. So my appraisal comes in with over 20% more. I cannot even change the lease contract, right? So I'm
Right.
eating
So
a
you
loss.
gotta eat it.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
So there's if again stability and coordination in numbers. If I have a 3% cap, I can say, hey, your lease goes up a max of 3%.
Right.
You know, it's not
Right.
that we are any owner is happy if you have constant renters. So
Yeah.
that's all good news.
So that's
if it's
for
doable.
all non-homesteaded property.
Yes.
Right.
So it's investment properties plus second homes plus anything else. What you were, the 30,000 feet view, you know, the state is looking at all these reforms with I think the number is, don't quote me, but I think it's $50 billion. It's a huge number. So
You're talking
to
about their
Debbie's-
surplus.
No, I'm talking about what they will reduce taxes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So if I talk to Debbie about that, who's like, I'm worried about the schools, the state is looking at how can I use consumption tax, sales tax, other measures in a
Right.
very little increments to offset that, because the schools will still need money, right?
Yes,
and
they do.
seniors and that everyone is still
Well,
needing money.
the state
so-
has taken up that slack as they've knocked the appraisals down. They've written those checks. As long as they have a $30 to $50 billion surplus,
So-
it's okay.
There is a lot
Then are
of
they gonna start
math
running our
in
schools?
it. And then math needs to be honest in terms of also the income side from the state. So they will need to do some tax increases in something that's fair to everyone in order to cover that.
Well,
Because
a lot of that money is coming from franchise fees and even some state sales tax.
well, and I think sales and consumption tax is probably the fairest way to go, as long as you exempt certain food groups, like if you do, you know, basic foods that is
Yeah.
necessary for really, really poor
Well, they
people.
just
That would be a very fair
Came
deal,
out this
you know.
week. You can't use
Yeah.
your SNAP funds for
Yeah.
candy
Yeah.
as of this
Yeah.
week. They
Yeah.
nothing and drinks with more than I think it's 5% sugar or something like
Diabetes.
that. 5 grams.
Yeah.
So you can't. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
No, so you can't use your state stamps to buy M&Ms anymore.
Yeah. Well, it all makes sense because then it adds to more medical costs,
Right.
So it's a circle.
Well, we're coming up on I guess a new round of appraisals. We're into the new year.
So for the consumer out there, if you get your appraisal, you have a certain time. You have 30 days to basically take that appraisal and put it in writing, put it online, or
Right.
go in person to the appraisal district. They have completely revamped their online system. It is getting easier and easier to do the protest all the way online. So you can submit your pictures online. You can basically call in and then talk to an appraiser and do it half-half. If you're older, you're not comfortable with it.
Right.
There's a lot of good ways where it's easier for
What's the best
consumers.
way if you feel your appraisal is on your house is too high? What's the best way to address that in appeal?
Like what kind of pictures or
well,
what kind
you-
of
Don't
data?
point out that
What
the
are you
roof
gonna
is
say?
old, or
Yeah, you have two ways. You can talk to an appraiser and or broker or real estate person and say, what are my comparables in my area so that I'm fair to everyone, right? And then they can give you the comps. And if the comps are to your advantage, then you can talk about that in the first place. If the comps are somewhere in the same vicinity, but your house is older and in worse shape,
Yeah.
and then you have to prove it. So you take pictures of, or you bring in the age of your roof, your AC, your
Right.
floors, your paint, your kitchen cabinets, anything that's fixed in the house. You cannot include furniture or
Right, not
you know
belongings,
personal
right.
stuff,
Right.
but anything that's fixed that belongs to the house.
roof,
that adds
foundation,
your
air
value.
conditioning?
That
Yes.
foundation, the walls,
Yes.
the brick
Foundation,
walls.
yes.
A lot of folks, they pass that up as like, well,
Yeah.
I can still live there, but it drops 3 inches, and
Right.
Yeah.
So
Whatever.
the appraisal district has a system, and the appraisers are pretty good about that. They have the age of the houses already in their system. But what they don't know is how often have you remodeled it? Which
Right.
part
Right.
is really old? Which part gives you more trouble? Plumbing, electric, sometimes huge numbers. They do not know what they can't see. So
Right,
if you
right.
have those issues, you go in. If you then get a bid, then
Take
it
that
might
with you.
be really good for them because then they don't have to look up their own stuff. They can use
Right.
your bid, say this is a reputable contractor. I
now
can
this-
honor
So like
that.
this is how much it would cost
Yes.
to,
The
to do all
state
these
law
things.
requires each property be appraised every 3 years. Is that about what the appraisal district does?
They are trying to do it less. Less. They have done it every year on the island, which was a problem because
Yeah.
of instability
market
again.
churns.
Yes.
And-
So 3 years is appropriate, and
Yeah.
the state is looking at all of that with their reforms because it's a lot of work for the appraisal district too,
Right.
and a lot of
When
money.
everybody,
We're
I
going to
couldn't
take
even
one
imagine.
quick break, and we will be right on back. Stick with us.
the next year, you have no money to put it into that house.
Right.
So
Right,
the
you're gonna
house
spend it all on taxes.
deteriorates more and more. So the overall tax value goes actually down because all these houses around then look
Right.
worse. And if they
Right.
sell, they are making less money. So it's not punishing people for doing better. It's just not a healthy system.
What's the real estate investment market like on the island right now? You mentioned that it's at 2%. I would think that means not a lot of people are buying investment.
Well,
property.
if you look at it, it goes back to what you guys all have covered, that we have in a stagnant market. You know, it's not a buyers, it's not a sellers, it's just nothing's happening.
I don't see a lot of
So
building
why? Yeah.
going on.
Why? So why isn't a buyer's market then? If everybody's trying to sell and no one's buying, why isn't it a good time for me to go buy a house?
Interest rates are
Interest
high,
rates.
and people are still waiting. And then it's also
And that uncertainty still.
And we also, I mean, population growth is going to be down for the next, if
Yeah.
we go this route for the next 20 years. I mean, we have a negative population growth as of
Yeah.
last year in this country. So if you don't have more, then you have to give those
We have
who
that.
are
Here,
more
we're seeing that here in
options.
Corpus as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
We're seeing our population has stayed stagnant for the last 30 or 40 years,
Yeah.
and the feeder markets for our tourism business have gone nuts.
Yeah.
And the Rio Grande Valley is now 3 million people as we sit here today. We just had an election this week. We're still not going to have a congressperson from Corpus Christi. We went
No,
from
we had
Victoria,
Victoria and the
we're going-
Valley.
Now we're going to the Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I went to the presidential rally here the other day, aside from the statewide speakers, all of the politicians that spoke are from the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
We are now joined politically to the Valley because we haven't grown.
Mm-hmm.
Our market, we've been stuck at 500,000 plus in our area, regional
I
area.
came
or
here first.
people here
Yeah.
voted for the guy in the valley and not for the guy here, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story.
30 years ago, no, 45 years ago, the first time in San Antonio was about the same size as Corpus.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
everyone was saying they both would grow
Austin the same
tremendously.
way.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we're at the end of the road, but we have so many things that are pretty and different
Yeah.
than anything
Oh,
else in the
absolutely.
state.
Well, we
So-
had the guys from the South Texas Military Task Force on a few weeks ago, and they didn't paint a very pretty picture. It looks like that race is probably going to drop to around 1,000 jobs. And there's a critical mass when you get to that small number of jobs, you can't fulfill the mission statement anymore. So it doesn't look like those jobs are going to come back.
And they're looking at trying to switch industries to expand into something that could kind of cover that spot,
Yeah.
but I don't think they can do it in time.
Trying to get a Coast Guard
Yeah.
training
Yeah.
facility and a Coast Guard cutter and some other stuff, but it's not going to provide 7,000 jobs
No.
Yeah.
like we had before.
Yeah, so we've got some friends sending some texts in via YouTube.
Anything we can repeat on the air?
And yes, yeah, a lot of it's okay. So be aware if you do comment on YouTube Live or on Island Moon Live on YouTube, we can see it, and so can everyone else. But Gabi, something that you kind of talked about earlier. These people are they're in the DFW area, but they're looking at getting a retirement home in Port A or on Padre. But
Padre.
the water the water issue is kind of giving them pause.
It's giving us all pause.
Yeah. How and obviously
Well, that
we've
goes
got
back to the uncertainty you're talking
yeah,
about.
and we've
part of
got
that
we've got an
uncertainty.
election year coming up. So I mean, city
Well,
council should be.
There apparently, and no one. I don't know that there's been anything formally said, but apparently Representative Cloud talked to President Trump when he was here, and there's some version of a promise.
I think he was on the
may
plane with
have
him. He
been
was on Air
made.
Force One on the way here.
And
talked
so
to him.
you may see some progress there. The state, I keep hearing, is also willing to put. There's the $400 million loan, I believe it is, from the Water Board, but there's another $1 billion from the surplus you were talking
Well,
about.
for those people that are out there, I would say you have a short-term problem and you have a long-term problem. I think the long-term problem will absolutely be fixed because we have
It
the
has to be.
ability
Yeah.
to do a huge desalination plant. I'm like, give it to a private company, put it out bigger than
Yeah.
anything else in the world. We have all of Texas to feed with water.
Sure.
End of story. So
Yeah.
that's my long-term take, and it will come because it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
The short term is a much bigger issue, and I have to say it is going to be a discussion with industry because those 350,000 people in Corpus have used the same water over the last 45 years since
Yeah.
I've been here for
Yeah.
the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was never an issue as long as it's just population. So
Right.
the industry is not allowed to use certain things that they might be able to use for just cleaning or doing stuff in a different way.
Right.
I think there is some systematic stuff everyone can together look at to make sure that the people have water first, because I think the
Yeah.
state does not want. They will not let that happen. I have
Well, it
I have
gets-
faith
Yeah,
in
yeah,
them.
it's-
You know,
It gets
so I have
political
faith in
through
them.
because of your regional water provider with the
yeah,
city and
yeah.
Republicans
Yeah,
in Austin and
yeah,
all of that
yeah.
stuff. But I tell you, when you look at when you look at the calendar,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear the water people at City Hall, they're talking about November. We hit the
And
point
earlier.
where, where
Wasn't,
we're
Peter
taking
Zanoni
more
on air
out every
today?
day than we're putting in. That coincides with the city elections.
Yes.
That-
It does. That's a really interesting time.
There you go. I
Yes.
mean, it seems to me like that's going to be our
Water,
window
water.
for something to happen, because that when you're running for office and you're running out of money,
Well, you have only two
mean, out of
options.
water.
You can either save water, right? Use up less.
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
can basically get it from somewhere. Well,
Yeah. You
buying
can't really
water
conserve
is
your way out of a drought, and
incredibly
that's part of the problem.
expensive. Exactly. Or only doable for a short time.
Yeah.
And then you have to have
Yeah.
a solution.
Yep.
I do think that no one will look at a city of our size and say, oh, all of these people are not getting any more water.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
especially not if you have other pieces and parts of this area using water left and right.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to be honest about that. That needs to be solved short time.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to just chip in.
but if you start squeezing industry and they have to start shutting down even on a temporary
Well, we
basis,
It's
don't
hard
want
too. I
That's,
agree.
uh,
I
that's
agree.
a slippery slope
I'm
to
not
go
saying
down.
that, but it's more about what water do you use for what purposes.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
like Valero recently just started using some non-potable water for their
Exactly.
cooling, and Flint Hills has done the same. I
And
know
they
that
are-
some
they
of
are
them looking into
trying to
that.
help and
They are
look at
trying.
that
And
problem.
also,
Yeah.
it's not like they didn't know this was coming. Like I know there are people out here have just like figured this out, but industry has known this problem was
Yes.
around for over a decade, and they have already like you and I can go and like turn the sink off when we're not brushing our teeth, or when we're brushing our teeth, and we can like put a bucket in the shower, we can flush the toilet less, and we can take shorter showers. But those are all low-hanging things that we can
Yeah.
do. Industry
My-
already did all the low-hanging things. Industry 10 years ago saw this coming, and they started cutting all the things they possibly could that aren't huge capital improvements.
So now that you
So
said they're
now-
using that non-potable, they're not buying water from the city, which makes our
Right,
costs
which makes
higher.
our costs go up too. I know it's a double-edged sword. That getting them off the water
Yeah.
system is
It's
great in
just-
one
it
respect,
is,
but also
yeah.
it makes us
It
have
is
to
a
pay more.
double-edged sword.
It's
There are so
coming
many
to a head
fixed
because
costs
it
in that water
coincides
system.
with the political season.
Yeah.
Is what I see. But to the answer to the question to the people from Dallas,
Yeah, come on
in,
down. We're
in
great.
the
we
long
love it here.
term, I don't think
I
lack
think in
of
the long
water is
term,
gonna be
our
that
prices, if you look at what our prices are, and especially on the island, they are incredibly competitive all over the United States for waterfront properties, if not the best ones out there, because you still get on a square footage price. You know, if you look at $200 to $300 a square foot, no builder can build it like that
Right.
anymore. Or no
Port
builder can be
Aransas
built
has been
for
at
that.
600-700.
We are
Yeah.
incredibly valuable on that level, right?
How many
So-
waterfront vacant lots do we have left on the island? Abby? You know?
Hey, that's I
Last
haven't
time I
looked
heard
at
it was
that.
around about 100.
I just wanted to say it's maybe 100, but not all of them are for sale. A lot of them are second yards, swimming pools, stuff like that.
We're
So
start-
maybe half for
We're
sale.
starting to see some
Yeah.
expensive tear downs on waterfront property.
Yes.
You see a vacant lot, someone comes in and buys a vacant lot in the house next door and tears it down and starts
For
over.
good locations, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so I think that over time, that's probably going to be our buyers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
We're gonna continue to go more high end.
Yes.
You see that in Port Aransas as well.
And it makes sense because the location is just beautiful. You are on the canal on one side, and within 5 minutes
Right.
you are on the beach, a drivable beach for 70 miles with the National Seashore attached
The
to it.
higher end property buyers are not
Yeah.
really interest rate conscious because they're writing checks.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
They're not borrowing money.
We've got some relatively loud water issues going on as far as the state goes. But, that's needless to say. Houston and Austin and San Antonio also have some pretty similar water issues, maybe not to this scale because they're not looking at developing industry the
San
way that
Antonio
Corpus
came
needs
down
to.
and bought our
But
plants.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably something that's not just really dedicated to one.
Yeah.
That was a 1 minute left signal,
That's
by the
why
way. Yes.
I think long term we have a chance of a lifetime to put a desalination plant, not in a bay. I'm all for
Yeah.
saving the bay,
Harbor
but
Island.
do it in a
Long
way where
term.
it's so much bigger than anything we are calculating right now.
The whole state needs water.
Yes, because we can sell it, we can make deals. Industry could invest in it, make money on it. You know, the state could invest in it, make money on it. By the end of the day, because everyone will need it, and it will be more, not less.
Right.
So,
We'll get there. We just got to
Yeah.
corpus it up
yeah,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Give
I
us
like
give
that
us a
lot.
chance to corpus the heck out of this thing, and then we'll get it to you. Well, you're listening to us right here on 1440 AM and 98.7. This is KEYS Corpus Christi Island Moon Thursday. We're Island Moon Live, and we will be back shortly. Stick around.
This is a good one.
It's a community effort.
It's a
and
community
so
effort.
much
Thanks
fun.
again to everybody on YouTube listening to us. Coming through this way, we are about to jump on back.
Now can we ask you about the film and music commission? Cool new stuff.
All right. Moving on to our next segment. Gabi, thank you so much for showing up. We
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Yes, we will
Hey.
have you back on soon.
Happy spring break to everyone, and come down here. It's
Yes.
beautiful right now.
Oh my God, it's stunning. It's just stunning. And I can smell the food they're cooking upstairs now, and it smells really good here at Doc's. Hey, can we ask Amira to talk about briefly about the? We have a new film and music commissioner here with Visit CC. He just started, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only been around maybe for about a month and a half here in Corpus Christi, but he is so seasoned. He started off his career with
Okay, hang on real quick. I'm going to double check just something. Hang with us, YouTube. I am just checking some audio hardware.
Okay.
Make sure we've got proper inputs.
You want to make sure that Radio World can hear us too?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. So we're not just shouting into
Yes,
the void.
and we are back on Island Moon Live. America, sorry, you can keep on running with that thought. What was it you were saying?
We have a new film
Yeah.
commissioner.
Yes, we do. Drew Myers Oaks. He is part of our Film and Music Commission, and so he's been around in Corpus Christi for about a month and a half.
Yeah, I met him at the music and film symposium
Yeah.
at House of Rock.
He's great. He is so knowledgeable. So he started his career over at the Texas Film Office, and so
Okay.
he has those connections. He also was the Film and Music Commissioner over at Visit El Paso for over 10 years, and worked in San Antonio, worked in very much some prominent areas throughout Texas. So when it comes to really the cream of the crop, we got that. We're excited.
So what does the Film and Music Commission do? Like, what is their goal?
Yeah, well, their goal is to bring in film or commercials or production, yeah, to the area. So whether that is through hosting some film scouting in the area, or maybe even enhancing the music scene locally. So we've seen that over the last couple of weeks, different events. So Coastal Bend Music Industry Symposium, and they added that film component.
Yeah,
we got
I
to
saw that this
speak.
year. That was great.
Well, the word at ISEC this week is that the producers of Landman have been down here looking around.
There was a shout out, right, in the last couple of episodes about Corpus Christi, and so
But
there's
wasn't a
definitely
really
some stuff
good
in
one
the
though,
works.
from what I heard. I haven't watched it yet.
I
I'm behind.
know. Well, we're always excited when Corpus Christi's in
Gets
the talk.
mentioned anyway,
Yes. So
No
I know
such thing
there's-
as bad publicity.
I mean, I don't know if I could agree with you on a PR standpoint, but but I can definitely say that Corpus Christi having its name out there is a good thing, especially in that context. So we know that we have very unique assets. So drivable beaches. We have also some industry, and given the fact that Landman, has to do
It's about that. It's
is
totally about
oil,
that.
Yeah,
It's about
I
oil
think
and
there's
gas.
some really awesome opportunities. I know that Drew has been working over the last couple of weeks just identifying the different stuff that we have here. There was already some foundation set, so we had a former Film and Music Commissioner.
Yep.
The Film and
Lydia.
Music Commission has been working probably for the past 3 or 4 years to get that enhancement, and now with Drew's leadership, I think we're really going to be able to take it to the next level.
We have everything except mountains. We have, right?
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
fake the
We have the
desert.
dunes.
We have to do
yeah.
yeah,
You-
yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can fake the deserts out west. We got beaches. We got water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like
So-
how Landman's trying to be official on things like that, because I recall Waco showing up in some kind of movie and it had a big mountain. So
Yeah.
it looked
You're
like-
like, oh yeah, you're
That
like,
was-
that's
That
not
was
what
when
they
they
didn't film
did
that there.
the battle of the Alamo, and Sam Houston was in front of a 2,000-foot peak somewhere over by Houston.
Right.
You're like, yeah, that didn't happen,
Lauren and
yeah.
I were watching Sicario 2, and they flew into NAS Corpus Christi,
saw
and there's
that.
mountains in the background.
I
And
saw
we were
that.
like, oh, yeah, it must be Flower Bluff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you guys made a video that we saw at the Advertising Awards. We saw clips from, which was amazing. They put together a video to try to show off all the different places that you could make a film around here and the different kinds of movies that you could make. And it was really funny, and it really showed off a lot of Corpus Christi. And I think, Drew, you need to make that available so that all of us can watch that and share it.
Yeah, we need to definitely make that available. So that was a commercial that our team came up with. It was in collaboration with Nightstorm Productions, and so we got to
They do
showcase-
amazing work, by the way, those guys.
Yeah,
Have to-
I mean, from drone footage and showing off the coastline to kind of some
The
other
Lexington,
assets. Yes, the Lexington.
beach.
Yeah.
Well, you could go
Trucks.
just a couple of miles south of here and film Gilligan's Island, because you could make it look like a deserted
Yeah, you could,
island.
you,
Yeah.
could, you could make it look really deserted.
Well, the
It's true.
problem is you can't shoot too late at night and then pan over on the side by Kingsville and get all the windmills in
Right,
there. That's
all
the
those
Right.
red
Yeah.
lights. Well,
Yeah.
now we got a pier, so we got
A
that
pier
going
would be
for
great
us.
to have a
Pier.
landman come up there and like have.
Maybe they could
Go
yeah.
fishing on their vacation.
Yeah, I mean, do oil deals right there.
Well,
It's
so
like,
Yeah,
okay.
they're
yeah.
they're through their second season, so they're probably getting ready to. They're probably planning their third season right now. So that maybe, who knows? I mean, we made King of the Hill. Port Aransas made King of the Hill. So why can't Corpus
There we
make
go.
Landman?
Yeah.
That we can.
It's
for sure.
exciting. I do want to touch on the economic development portion of having a film and
Please.
music commission. So you think about when these film crews are coming down and they're bringing in, 100, 200 people crews. They're staying in those hotels, right?
Right.
So
They're eating our food.
yeah, they're eating our food. They're going to our local businesses, whether that's catering on site, that they might
That
cater
too,
from
too.
Doc
Yeah.
Seafood and Steaks. And so
Yeah.
there's an economic development component that is tied to everything that Visit Corpus Christi does, and whether that's Film and Music Commission or our Sports Commission.
Right.
We had just a couple of months ago, last year, the World Sailing Competition here.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I got to shoot that. I got to go out on the bay with Josh Richline downtown. And in fact, I made a postcard. I sell postcards now. I made a postcard that I took from
Mm-hmm.
his ship, and it has an orange sailboat in front of downtown. And you can see Miradors, and you can see the bridge, and you can see a Whataburger. It has everything.
The community was very excited about that, and
They
I think
were.
kind of those opportunities to even go out and spectate some of these sporting events.
Oh, it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
We're
Absolutely
trying
beautiful.
to kind of move in that direction, aren't we, in sports tourism?
Yes, wind and water sports are definitely our bread and butter.
Yeah,
And butter.
yeah.
We have substantial wins here, and so we're trying to capitalize on that. We have some of world-class
Well, the
assets when it comes to that.
whirlwinds down at Bird Island is
Yep.
the
Yeah.
number 2 windsurfing
We're
place in the
seeing
country.
a huge rise
Right.
in bird tourism
Yeah.
as
Oh my
well.
gosh,
Being
yes.
the
We're
birdiest
having a
city
bird
in the
party
U.S.
on the
That's
patio
pretty
right
cool.
out here as we speak.
have in April we have at the Botanical Gardens puts on the birdiest city in America
Yeah,
bird
that'll
festival.
be in April, and we always help highlight that too.
Oh yeah,
the
people
Botanical
come
Gardens.
from all over to go to that.
Yes, and I actually had a journalist that was interested. He's from the New York region. He was writing for a couple of different publications. He specifically wanted to come here because it's the birdiest city in America, and
Nice.
then he wanted to go to the event. So we brought him out. He wrote a wonderful piece, and so that's one of the ways that we try to get the word out there, just with traditional public relations as well.
So
Birders
Awesome.
have money.
The birders
Yeah.
have money, and that's why I'm
Yes,
such.
they do.
I'm a big fan of the Oso Creek Wetlands Preserve over
I
there.
just went there the other day. I just
Right,
went
yeah.
to
And that-
yesterday. I went hiking in there.
That one, it was
Beautiful.
it literally made me mad because they were talking about closing it down because we don't have enough money over there. I was like,
Yeah.
are you out of your mind? That's the biggest tourism thing besides.
Oh, it's beautiful.
and
I
it's
saw
the
a
wonderful thing.
thrasher. I saw a thrasher.
Did you?
Birds
Yes.
A brown
travel,
thrasher.
and they will
They do.
travel
And
so
you see,
far.
and they have a
Yes.
lot of money to spend, and a lot of them come from around the world. I see people like, as I ask them, "Where are you from?" "Oh, we're here from New York. We just came here to see the painted bunnings or
Right.
whatever."
Yeah.
Oh
Check
well,
the
we
box.
had that cattle
Yeah.
tyrant
Yes.
downtown. We have a whole mural
it
that
still there?
But I would
Or-
be downtown, and I would see vans drive up, and
Yeah.
people would all
Their
get out with their
binoculars.
binoculars and their
Yes.
cameras. They'd all point at things. They'd go eat lunch somewhere. They get in their little van, go back to Houston.
We
It
need to
was
go to
great.
Brazil and kidnap a couple more of
Couple
those.
more of those cattle tyrants,
Yeah.
bring them
Put 'em
back up
back
here.
over
I
there.
know.
I don't know about that, but it was definitely an interesting time, and seeing that kind of develop. There would be times where I was just walking downtown. I would see people with their binoculars.
Yeah.
I would ask them,
Yeah.
"Hey, where are you coming from?" And there was even times in January that they would say, "I'm coming from upstate New York," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, you're coming that far
To
see
see a
this
bird.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Watching the
Yeah.
migrators.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Right,
they-
we can
they
just
go-
we'll get some spray paint. Tyler's gonna spray paint a couple grackles, and we'll give them awesome names. And we'll have
Give 'em
people
some
from
fancy
all over
names.
come down to
Yeah.
They were around
The-
Heritage Park.
The sprayed
Yeah.
grackle.
It's a
Yeah.
Thor, it's
Yeah.
a it's
the
a,
rare sprayed grackle.
It was a
Thorson-
beautiful bird. To
It
be
was
completely fair.
People,
Now-
people keep
Beautiful,
those
beautiful
life
bird.
those life lists of
They
every
do.
bird you've ever
and
seen.
now we get the monk parakeets downtown. So
And people have, like all the birds that are normally seen in the country, people generally have. So whenever you have something that blows in here from somewhere else, everyone wants to see it because it's something that you get to add to your list that you wouldn't
and we
normally
have
get to.
one of the best places on the planet to go look at birds.
Oh, absolutely.
And even-
I go to the birding festival
Yeah.
every year, and I shoot it for them, and they usually send me on a tour, and the people are like, "Oh my God, did you see that? Whatever." And I'm like, "No, you are my painted bunting. I'm taking a picture of you pointing at the bird. That's what I want."
Yeah, well, I've just seen over the last couple of years, I've been with Visit Corpus Christi almost 5 years, and the rise in ecotourism is outstanding. I mean, you're
Nice.
talking about people traveling for just these ecotourism experiences, whether it's birding, but then also probably the question that I get asked the most by media is about the sea turtle releases out on
Oh,
Padre Island
yes,
National
yes,
Seashore.
yes, yes.
So people travel to just have these magical sites
Yeah.
of like ecotourism.
Speaking
Lucky
of which,
for
there's
us, we
one
have
com-
them.
there's
Yeah.
one coming up. So I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but it's this month, in a couple weeks maybe.
Yeah.
Go to the Texas Sea Life Center website, and you can find out when their next.
And those are
release is.
the older ones that have been rehabbed, either cold stun
Yeah.
or they've got the
Yeah, not the little baby
the
ones, these are bigger
viruses
ones,
that
yeah.
they have to the Dr.
Yeah.
Tristan
Yeah. Or
removes
their
them.
cold
We're
stun.
just getting into the nesting season now, aren't we?
Well, actually, the first camps are usually around the middle of April. So
One
we,
minute.
we go a month before kind of scouting, but usually it's about the first middle of April. So they start.
When,
So
when
then-
they
and
start
then-
slowing down the traffic, so you
Well,
can
Right, and
get-
then they'll have I don't know 50 days after that when they hatch.
We dominated between Corpus Christi, our beaches, and Padre Island National Seashore. We dominated the numbers of sea turtle nests last year. I know we were posting
nice.
when we get updates weekly on
Well, you were
discovered and
mention-
recovered sea
you
turtle
mentioned
nests.
It was years before you lived here that you heard about pins. One of the most common ways people would find pins was through the turtle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Those baby,
Right.
those baby
Yeah.
turtle races were so cool,
Yeah.
and now they're not really doing those anymore.
No.
Well, we've
There's-
got a changing dynamic on the beach, and one of the things that I do want to talk about once we get back from the break is our kind of shift from the attitude on the beach that we had in about the 90s to what we're looking at today. Stick around, hey, hold fast. We will be right back.
We should probably do an update on.
All right, we are
Yep.
back on YouTube. Get the audio, everything set here. Sorry, you guys, just stick with me. I'm going to walk you through this as we record. Make sure our audio is good for segment 3. And we're going, and we're back. This is 98.7 FM, 1440 AM Keys. And if you're following us on YouTube, this is Island Moon Live. And we are glad you're joining us. We've got America from Visit Corpus Christi, Dale Rankin, Debbie Noble, Tyler Thorson. My name is Jacob Oggs. And we are getting right back to it. So one of the things that I kind of mentioned before the break was the change of attitude. Now, I'm not sure. I think you said you were in Corpus for about 10 years or so. I don't know if you've heard stories about the old sea sculptures and our old big beach parties and things that we used to have that kind of just got too big for its britches. You know, I think Barefoot Mardi Gras was one of those things that has grown so amazingly, and it's a family-friendly event.
It hasn't been like, it doesn't explode.
It started organically.
Yeah. Well, and because I think it's a charitable organization, there's no one really necessarily making money off of it.
No.
So I think
Trust
that kind
me.
of keeps it the right way. We were supposed to have Chief Markle on. He said he's got something that kept him busy, but he'll jump on
Otherwise
later.
known as
So
spring break.
this is my way of letting Chief Markle know that I'm calling him out. So we'll have to jump on
we
soon.
love Chief Markle.
Well,
He was
they-
in the parade. He and his wife and his dog were in the parade.
You're talking about the sea sculptures. Those were out at Newport Pass for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to Judge Connie Scott about a week ago. The county is looking at selling that property.
Really?
Oh, is
Okay.
that- one of the
And
ones.
they've got a private buyer that's interested, but they've also got a governmental entity. She didn't say who. That is interested
then would
in
they
taking
close it
over.
off to-
So, well,
would happen?
depends on who buys it and what they want to do with it. I wouldn't think you would want to turn that into a conservation area. You're probably going to want to turn it into maybe a state park or something like that, and maybe bring back the sea sculpture. Those ran into permitting issues.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah, which I think in some cases I'm not a big fan of a lot of the permitting issues, but this may be the thing that keeps us
It got a
in
little-
something that keeps it from going too far on
spicy.
the other side. But, you know, I think I've seen in the past, and Dale, you can speak to this as well, in the past 10 to 15 years, the kind of overall change from a lot of the way people hung out at the beach to now more of a family-friendly atmosphere. You know, we've got more lifeguard presence. I know that.
Port Aransas and Corpus have dealt with it in a little bit different way. Port Aransas, I want to say 10 years ago, something like that, banned alcohol consumption on the beach after sundown. And so that changed a lot.
The whole
a
spring-
lot of
the
what-
whole spring break thing.
Yeah. And on our end, our solution was we had some trouble with maybe some gang activity coming down out of some of our feeder markets. So they tried a breed ban on pit bulls, and that was struck down by the Supreme Court in some other city. So that went
That's
away.
crazy.
Now it's dogs.
And now which they don't really enforce. And if you recall, Tyler, they used to go over on North Packery just a few years ago, and they would cut 3 lanes over there. They don't do that anymore.
Well,
Because-
the surfers hated that because it creates lakes, but
Yeah.
you have to get it down to where the soil will stay moist because that's what keeps it drivable.
Well, it used to be 1 lane in each direction,
Yeah.
and then an emergency lane.
Okay.
Now they've gone to just an emergency lane, and last year I don't think they even did that because the beach is wide enough there now that there's plenty of room, and the emergency vehicles can get in
But
and
boy,
out.
it sure is fluffy there, though.
Yeah.
It's-
Fluffy.
it's
Well, that
real
tends to
fluffy.
be for anybody listening to this show from out of the market. If you're coming down to the beach, there's a couple of places you can go and avoid crowds. Clayburgh County being one.
It's getting crowded
farther
though.
down.
Just before you get to the National Seashore, there's one, the Smuggler's Access Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can go there and come north or go to Bob Hall Pier.
Go
Pier,
south 8.5
Yeah, I was
miles.
going to say, it's so many miles of beach. It's not hard. I mean, just go
Yeah.
a little ways and you get away from the people.
And there's another area.
There's so much space.
If you go up 361 and go to the last access road in Corpus Christi city limits and turn south, there's 7 miles of beach you'll pretty much have to yourself.
That's the one from
Yeah, don't tell
Mayan,
everybody.
Mayan Princess South.
Yes.
Okay.
Which they're in the process of putting another access road in, but it's not there yet. There's some issues, some wetlands issues.
We
But-
use that one to great success a lot of times. A lot of folks were, by the way, I have to give a fishing report. A lot of folks were catching all kinds of pompano and slot redfish and big redfish over the weekend. So
Where?
Nice.
Bob Hall Pier.
Bob Hall Pier.
That's
Bob Hall
awesome.
Pier.
When
Yeah.
I was out there, I saw them catching stingrays, which they were going to then use for shark bait.
Yeah.
And they were already drilling holes for their poles.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that, and I hope they slapped the
Pole holes.
big
They
fine
did.
on
They
those.
did it. I don't know if they arrested one guy, but they had video. They got one guy anyway.
Yeah.
Well, they probably need to you probably need some rod holders, right? Maybe
Well, they're-
add
they're-
those
Well, no,
in.
they're going to put them out
They're
there.
going to put
They
them
were
out
gonna
there.
put them out
Same
there.
thing with more benches and things for people to sit on, because right now, but they said, let's get the thing open, because there's the only
Yeah,
thing was holding
people
them
were
back.
already
Yeah.
going out there anyway, so they
Yeah.
were like, we might as well
Well,
open it
the
because
last-
you're spending all your time.
And they're
trying to keep
talking
people
about
off.
going out for the.
And the pier itself is done. The structure was done.
They're talking about any day letting the contract for the construction of the restaurant, and they're saying by May they'll probably go out for RFPs
Yeah.
on a concessionaire.
Well, there's still a lot to be done. I mean, the last I saw, they were running the lights off of a generator.
Yeah.
Because that's
'Cause
because
they
the
don't
lights
have
are
the-
supposed to be in the concession. The whole the
Yeah,
electricity
yeah.
comes to that,
And
and,
that's
that part's
a
coming,
separate
and,
bid.
and that's
don't-
in
I mean,
phase 2.
There's
So they-
electrical,
yeah.
plumbing, everything
Yeah.
that has to get in there. So
Yeah,
it's,
that's all
there's a
coming.
lot of
That's all
infrastructure
coming.
still to go.
The
It is.
company that built the pier was going to do the concession space,
And then they changed their mind.
They didn't, and so there's a little bit of glitch in the
That was
system.
that was the second phase too, because all the funding for the restaurant came after the funding for the pier. Those were two separate things. And so then Cal Ellen decided they didn't really want to do the restaurant after all, so we just had to go and find someone else to do it. But it's all
It's
all
coming.
coming.
It is.
It's
it
all
is.
coming. They're working. It's unbelievable how many regulations you touch sand dunes, and we're over water there. And you got city, you got county, you got state, you got federal.
ran
There
into
are
that
so many
with the-
regulations
Yeah.
to
The
deal
new
with.
piers
You
are
got to
over
pay
the
off.
water.
and
You
it's
got to pay
insane.
off the Sea Turtle Union.
Yeah.
And you know how that
Yeah.
goes.
And you
Yeah.
realize the new pier construction brought the sand back from a lot. You could see it right when your drone shots back on the front page. You can see
Yeah.
the sand cuts out like this because it increased around those pilings.
But when
Yeah.
it was permitted, it was
was
over
gone.
water, and so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
had
yeah.
to go.
And now it's
Yeah,
more
but it's
sand.
not.
Down that
No,
road.
so true. It's way. It's
And now
over.
the next thing will be the ability to get to put the parking lots and
Yeah.
the
And
roads
that's,
back in.
that's
That's
the
a
one we haven't
huge
going
quite.
through
thing.
the GLO
That's a huge
process.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get with putting a fire lane through there, so you'll have to make it wider, maybe, and we'll see.
Well,
'Cause,
speaking
you
of fires, I wanted to touch
Oh,
on
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
I
transition.
talked to the fire department this week. There's still the fire, the cause of the fire at Market 37. We had the owner of Market 37 on last week, owner manager Steve Whitberg. And I talked to the fire department this week. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to determine what started the fire because the damage is so extensive. They can see where it started,
Right.
but they don't know what
Just how.
started it.
There's no concrete proof as to identifying the
No,
cause.
it's probably going to end up in the hands of the insurance adjusters, and they'll
Oh,
do what
that's
those
gonna
guys
be-
do.
That's going to be
And-
really heartbreaking for some of those
But
boat owners. Yeah.
They're already back over there now. I put the whole statement this time in the Moon so people can read it for themselves, but it doesn't
Yeah.
look like they're going to be able to, the arson investigator is going to be able to come out and say, this is what exactly started it. So, and the other thing I wanted to touch on before I forget, our gas bill. We got our utility bills. My phone
Oh,
started
yeah.
ringing at the Moon this week.
Yeah,
It's
it
going
did.
nuts. What the heck's going on? And everybody's blaming water, and they think it's fees because of the drought. So I
No,
called
they-
the city water department. It has nothing to do with it.
No, they would have had to put that through council, and we would have heard about
It's
that.
not.
They can't just
it-
put stuff on there.
It's strictly gas. If you look at your bill, your overall utility bill is higher.
It
Water
was
bills
cold. It
did
was
go
cold
up
and
about
you- yeah.
$9 a month. There's 2 new fees that kicked in with the new budget year. $4 and some change twice, so it's around $9-10. But the $50 and $60 increases are the unit price of gas, which that's regulated by the state, and utilities go out on the spot market. When you have a cold snap, the price of natural gas
Oh,
goes
yeah.
up,
Yeah,
and there's a month lag. People forget that it was cold.
that's true.
And
It's
so-
hard to believe it now. It's such a beautiful day. People were all on the beach getting
They were
sunburns this
sweating.
weekend,
Yeah.
and we were
Right.
sweating. It's hard to remember that. Oh yeah, we were cold last
But
month.
that's what it is. So, if with the weather that we've been having, the Chamber of Commerce weather we've been having the
Yeah.
last month or so, your gas bill should go back down here.
we all get a cold snap right around 1 week of spring break, always.
Always.
Well,
and
I would
and
love
then and the wastewater is the wastewater bill. Remember, we are in winter averaging right now.
Yeah, so don't waste
So,
don't
yeah.
waste a lot. Don't water anything.
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever
Well, we're not allowed to
whatever
water anyway.
water is coming through your tap, that's how they're tabulating the city's tabulating your wastewater fee for the rest of the year. On the theory that if it comes in, it's going down the drain.
I want to thank my boss Jim Lavelle at Complete Foundations. He's allowing me to do these reports, and we had a catastrophe happen earlier. Our main generator went down on our trailer, and it's like, without a generator, we got no business.
Right.
So we shipped that off, and like a day later, we had a temporary one that we're dragging around using, and we're back doing it like that.
So we can throw a beach party with your
we,
generator.
we can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Nick and the crew, and Orlando, and Jonathan, and Kelly, and Amy. We made that work, and so that's why I was out late doing stuff. And I thank him
So
for
we get
letting
your
us play.
generator and a Skylink, and we go down to Clayburgh County and stay for a week.
right there, and come back and seal some bulkhead joints.
And you can watch it all on YouTube and Island Moon Live.
So if people from the San Antonio market are coming down, and what's the fishing like? What do they need to know?
They need to know that the sheep's head are biting, and they'll bite in the wind. The other thing is, when we have these windy days, southeast winds, hot day. Now here's your downtown report. Go to Indian Point Pier and go over there. They
I
get the
mean
big
to-
black
I mean
drum.
to go over
big
there.
black drum.
Not for fishing. I just want to go there and look at it. It's beautiful, and I want to go take some pictures over there. And I
Sure.
haven't been in a while.
Indian Point Pier, catch more fish.
Right, and Bopal Pier, Pompano, and black drum, and redfish.
Wonderful. There you go.
There's definitely a lot going on in Corpus Christi right now. We are coming up on our nice little spring break season, so the locals are getting their last little chance to get out and run around
Today's
before
the day
people
to hit
hunker
the
down.
HEB. You'll see-
Exa-
Go to
that's-
HEB in the Bluff today. You'll see every person on the island
Yep.
you ever met.
Go see your
Stocking
neighbors.
up, yeah. That's so
Stocking
true.
up.
That's the way to do it.
They're
We're gonna
reopening the Sip Yard in Port Aransas this
Oh,
weekend.
that's right. Yeah.
Let's
That
go.
That's great. That
and-
place is
and
awesome.
they're doing some live music up there. I went up
Love
this past week to the new bar that's about to open on the boat, the floating bar.
Oh, I
We've
love
got
that
a
idea.
lot of that and more to get to when we come back. Hold fast.
And this week is
All right, we are back to Island Moon Live. Thanks for sticking with us. We are live here from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. We are downstairs at the Waterline. If you wanted to see what we look like or what's going on here, you can just go to YouTube and go to Island Moon Live and find us there. And, of course, all our friends on YouTube, you can see we are on 98.7 and 1440 Keys, KEYS, Corpus Christi. We are getting towards the end of our broadcast right now, but we are so glad that you guys have joined us. America from Visit Corpus Christi, Dale Rankin. We've got Tyler Thorson, Debbie Noble. My name is Jacob Oggs. And we're going to hit on a few of the kind of things coming up for this
Yeah.
weekend. The Sip Yard is opening up in
they
Florida,
are.
you
They
were
have
saying.
live music. We're winding down into. It's my contention that this weekend is like the Island New Year, because it's what the Winter Texans are the last of the last year because they got here before January, and then we're going off of daylight wasting time on to daylight saving time.
That's
And
a fun
so
way to
you'll
put
have
it.
you'll get
I
your
like it.
sunsets back in
Right,
the
right,
evening.
right. It'll stay later longer.
And to me,
which I
this
like,
is
yeah.
kind of the New Year's of the island calendar. We're winding down into the first week of spring break and our first no left turn weekend of the season, and then next week is going to be the big one. This week is the A&M spring break. Next week is most of the other schools.
We've got a list of you found all of the
Yeah.
schools on which weekend or which week of
UT,
spring
Yeah, you
break.
published
and
that
stuff
in
like
Moon. I
so-
saw
Texas
that, yeah.
Tech.
Yeah.
Those are all, but next weekend, the 14th, is when they overlap.
That's the big
So-
crescendo for here.
That'll be the golf cart no left turn weekend.
Just
of
remember
spring
what
break.
spring breakers do: get out early and come back before 3 or 4 o'clock if you're going to the beach, because they wake up late,
Yeah, then,
go
then
party,
they
and
go.
they're
You're
like,
good.
"Oh,
You're
what
good.
are we gonna do tonight?"
The
Yeah.
earlier you go, the easier it is
Yes.
for you.
From
Yeah.
10 o'clock
yeah,
to 4 o'clock, stay off the main roads.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
it. Beware the Moors.
Hey, before I forget, Flower Bluff is having a new sort of farmers market thing they're doing on for a market day. They're doing it on the first Thursday, which is this. So it's today from 4 to 7 at the Grace Community Church. I know
Nice.
they're trying to encourage and invite people to go to that. Bunch of vendors, food trucks, and our Padre Island Farmers Market starts up again too. That'll be here the 19th, is that next Thursday.
Are they going to have the new site at Whitecap ready for that?
Yes,
They-
I think so.
are
I
they?
think that's where they're
Good.
going to have it at Whitecap.
Outstanding.
Outstanding.
They've
Turned
been-
out to be massive.
Yeah,
It
they've been
started
working
small
that.
and
Yeah.
got big.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
been-
no, we're looking forward to that. That'll
They've
be
been
really
moving
fun
a lot
too.
of dirt. And speaking of a lot of dirt, I've got a little trivia question for you, America. I don't know if this is
okay.
it's some pretty esoteric knowledge, but I don't know if do you know the actual name for Packery Channel?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know
It's
that.
a beach renourishment.
You don't know that?
something.
I don't
Debbie,
know
Yeah,
that is
very
surprising.
close.
You're like the island princess, so I now feel like I have no shot at this.
You're on the marketing end, so you tell people Packery Channel and
Right.
things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
there's an actual legal name
It's
for it.
something like
What is
the
it? What is it?
Packery
Enlighten me, please.
Beach renourishment.
Yeah.
You're close, yes. North Padre Island Stormwater Protection and Environmental Enhancement Project.
We
Oh
want
my
to
goodness.
protect
Is
our
there an
stormwater.
acronym?
So
Is
Yeah.
there
catchy.
an acronym?
It's just Packery.
So
Yeah.
catchy.
It wasn't built as
Oh,
a channel. It was
goodness.
built
And
to
it's-
renourish the beach.
Yes, and it's
Gotcha,
actually called
gotcha.
Packery because there was a packing plant there,
There
back in the
was.
day.
Oh,
So
okay.
so that's
right.
I need to get that in writing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
yes,
I'll
I
be
do.
sure
We
to
can
have
send
that.
it to you. Yes, our buddy John Michael actually, I think
Was
he
there.
came up with the name sitting in the Pentagon when they were trying to get go
money,
into
get
meetings,
funding.
And Joe, we're
There
getting a
you
bunch of this
go.
stuff
Yes.
set up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
That's
there was a
hilarious.
meat
Fascinating.
Packery. There was a meat factory
I
over
can, I
there.
can see
in-
why we
in
went with
Hyde.
Packery.
yeah.
Yeah,
a
they
little
would
short.
they would just get the beef and just use for their hides.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then- and
there's,
there was
you know,
also-
at the Packery Point Park here over by the Texas Ely Center, there's one of the historical markers that explains all that.
We also had
There's
a
like 3 historical markers there with
a
great
feather
information.
factory here that just about wiped out the bird population.
That would do it, like
Oh.
when the women used to wear the hats with feathers. Yeah,
I think that might have had something to do with the whooping crane
and
shortage.
the egrets and all those things. Yeah.
Well, and speaking of talking about beach renourishment, I just looked back at issue 1142 of the Island Moon, and you can see how packed it was in front of the seawall on barefoot, but driving wasn't open the entire way.
Yeah.
No,
So-
not in front of the seawall.
Part of the seawall is still blocked off to vehicular traffic, so if you
They
go
opened
in,
the bollards
yeah.
just so that we could get the parade through, but not traffic.
Okay, has there been any talk, or have we heard anything about the rest of Mount Packery getting delivered over to the seawall at all?
They were doing it before Barefoot Mardi Gras. I don't know if they still are. We have a process where we dug the channel, we re-nourished the beach
Yeah.
by putting the sand in front of the seawall. Then Mother Nature blows it back in the channel,
Yeah,
so we
and we
dig it
dig
out
it
of
out.
the channel, and sometimes put it on the south side before we put it on the north side.
Yeah.
But the
It's
south
a constant.
side,
It's a constant battle. It's a constant dance.
down here when you have a pass, the beach shrinks on one side and grows out on the other. So that's just how it is. But then the spring breakers show up and fill up both sides, and that's
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
that, and we're right on we're the calm before the storm today as we sit here at docks.
And if you're about to head down for spring break, don't forget to get your beach parking pass. They have
Oh,
them
yeah.
at HEB. You can get them at Stripe stores and all
Yep.
other little retailers all over the place. As well as, I believe they'll have people stationed up during business hours at Zon Road. And some people even roving, selling them.
They're
So
like-
if you're
like
gonna go
$12, is that what we're saying?
$12
Okay.
for an annual parking pass lasts
Yeah.
through December 31st. And
So if you're going to get one, you might as well come back another time so you can still use it.
Yeah.
exactly.
Got to get your
Absolutely.
$12
You
worth.
got to get your
Yeah.
$12 for
And
it.
for people up the country, if the guys in the funny jackets that do the weather reports tell you it's going to rain, don't believe them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may rain somewhere over there, but it's not going to rain out here.
Now maybe if we have
We
a
need
sailing
it.
event, the wind will die.
Yeah,
That's
no,
about
that's
it.
true. Or a kite
We'll get a
flying
little
competition.
cloud for the spring breakers, but that'll be about it.
You got the Oyster Fest going on too.
Was that this
Yeah,
weekend?
that's in Rockport.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
just stuff to do.
It's Art Walk this Friday night downtown,
yeah.
right, America?
Right,
So
yes.
that's and
we
the-
got oysters too.
and the blocks, the streets will be closed again. Huge block party, massive. There's
Rockport
like
is getting to
stages
be
of
quite
music,
the
all kinds of
music
stuff. Yeah.
destination.
And if you're a fan of oysters and want to learn a little more about oyster mariculture, you can read Jay's article in the Island Moon.
Oh, nice.
I grabbed a bag of oysters, and it was kind of interesting. First off, there was one oyster, a couple of them that were just massive, like the size of my Tabasco bottle. There's a picture of it in the Moon.
It's
Oh,
huge.
wow.
And the other one is several of the oysters that we had were attached to river rocks that have actually been used as oyster habitat renourishment.
So it was
Saw
working.
that.
So it
I
was
didn't
working.
quite
Love that.
understand it.
Yes, yeah. So
Well, we kind of think. I was thinking that somebody may have poached them because I thought those weren't ready yet.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
no,
and
that's not good.
No, but that. But
You're
well,
eating
I'll tell you what,
illegal
they-
illegal oysters
well,
over
no,
there.
it was nice to see them attached to rock because the best strata for them to be on is oyster shells, but that costs
Yeah.
a lot of money. Takes a lot of time to get
And
them
you
out
got the
there.
CCA banquet tonight. Don't forget.
Yeah, that's going to be
yeah.
What time
great.
does that start?
That starts at 5:30, and you can still get tickets, I'm sure, but if you go online right now, ccatexas.org, look up Corpus Christi on there, and we'll have the banquet stuff.
You
for
always have good food at those things. Dude, all you
That's
can
5:30 at the Hilliard.
They
That's
do. I got to eat like 3, and then I have to go up on.
eat. Take a doggy bag.
Yeah. And then
Tyler's
Jay and
probably
I'll
going to
tap
run the
dance.
live auction again and announce
the
the
same-
Game Warden of the Year, Conservationist of the Year, and
nice.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes.
Okay.
A friend of mine moved down from Dallas. He was the head of the CCA up there, and he went to the first one here. They were auctioning off a bird dog. So
Yeah.
he opened the bidding
Oh, wow.
at $300 and bought a bird dog. with
Really?
that
Well,
one.
that was some time ago.
He was
'cause-
thinking he was just going to kick it, get
Oh,
the
yeah,
bidding
yeah,
going.
you did
Next
that
thing you know, he
show,
had a dog.
And then he went home with an
You want to
actual
be the
dog.
last paddle standing, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, before anybody forgets, we got St. Patty's Day Festival coming up downtown too, right?
Yeah.
That's
In the
Saturday.
middle of the month.
Yeah, like 15th.
March 15th or something.
Yeah,
I usually do the-
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
St.
like-
Patty's Day is on a
It's
Tuesday.
coming
That's-
back.
oh,
it's
yeah, it's
coming
coming
back.
back.
It had a halt last year, and so
Yeah.
it's back and
Back with a
better
vengeance.
than
They
ever.
you got your green beer. It's very family friendly in the beginning, and then
Yeah.
by the end, you feel like you're walking through a disaster movie. There's sirens in the background.
I usually do the 4-day.
No, they got
pub
lots
crawl
of
and
they got the lineup of bands looks amazing, and they have like 3 different stages and
4-day
green
pub
beer
crawl
flowing. It'll
on
be really
St.
fun.
Patty's Day. I would not call it family friendly.
It is in the beginning.
It's a
They
pub
have,
crawl.
in the beginning, they have face painting
Yeah.
and bouncy houses and stuff, but yeah.
And then when the parents get lit up,
And
they,
then when the parents then, yeah,
stops.
then,
It's time to
it-
go.
it
And
definitely
speaking of
changes, but
parties, we
it's
want to
really,
say
really
a big
fun.
thank you to all our guests, America and Gabi Hippold, for joining us earlier. Jay
Yes.
Gardner was on briefly. Good to see him.
He always
And
has good
we
stuff.
will be back next Thursday for Island Moon Live. We are rocking it
Thank you for
from
joining us.
Doc
Thank
Seafood and
you.
Steaks. They are closed today, but they will be reopening tomorrow. They're just doing their annual cleaning and
Oh, that's
repaving
right.
the parking lot and getting ready for the madness. That is spring break. We are glad you're with us on Island Moon Live, where we talk about things going on in Corpus Christi, Flower Bluff, Port Aransas, and the Coastal Bend. America, it was so great having you, and
America,
look
tell
forward to
everybody
having
where
you back
we can
on
follow
there.
you guys on socials. If people want
Yes,
to make sure
you
they know what
can
you're
go
doing.
to Visit Corpus Christi on all social media. That's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and then you can also subscribe to our newsletter on our website. So visitcorpuschristi.com.
As
you
a
have all
local,
the events.
as a local, follow in, find
Yeah.
out what's going on.
Outstanding. You heard it here first. Have a great one, friends.
Yay.
Thanks, Debbie. The plug.
Yeah, thanks
You and I
for
share. You and I share.
John
what we
Michael
said.
for the
Yeah.
what project
That
was
was
it?
good.
Coastal flooding enhancement.
That was Snake Snyder would always pull
I
that
also
rabbit out
had
of the
it,
hat
yeah.
when he wanted something.
Well, that's my whole thing here. Is like
He would say that way it wasn't done as a package channel. It was done
Awesome
for the
job.
beach, and I want the cars off of there.
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to.